strong breeze, it certainly would be favouring the end Hawthorn is kicking to.
So just over 3 minutes in, the Hawks with the first goal. Dunstall in his 50th match for Hawthorn, former Queenslander, of course, and wouldn't the Bears love to have him now? As Hawthorn surge forward again, Brereton and Reynoldsson could be quite a clash. Dunstall once more. Roberts. And now a throw-in up towards Hawthorn's forward pocket. And the Bears, with a big job in front of them. Peter Knights knows it only too well. They had a players' meeting on Tuesday night, 2 days after last Sunday's debacle, to try and sort a few things out. Trained Thursday night. They've tried to really get themselves back together for this very important game for them. Hawks deep in attack. That's Pritchard, the youngster. Now Loveridge. Quick snap is home. And the Hawks have 2 inside 4 minutes. 1 to Dunstall, now 1 to Loveridge, and they lead by 13 points, and the early signs aren't good for the home team.
We see Brereton there with that wild kick off the ground. Young Pritchard, only in his first year with Hawthorn, with that quick hand pass across to Richard Loveridge. And Loveridge, along with Platten, form possibly the best roving duo in the competition. But as I said before, Hawthorn are kicking with quite a strong breeze.
Mark Micken straight to Dipper. The bulky man then thumps it down to centre half forward. Curran dives at it, kick off the ground. Brereton over the top went Reynoldsson. Diving at it again was Curran. And it's only about 30 metres out from the face of goal as the umpire decides to bounce.
Umpires Woodhead with the ball and McDonald officiating at Carrara. Brereton easily. Platten the chance as Dunstall waited back. Well done though by Roberts. Carlson out on the full. Nothing going right for the Bears in the first 5 minutes. They've conceded 2 goals. And Hawthorn have done all the attacking. The Bears haven't crossed the centre line. They've had remarkably few possessions in the first 5 minutes of the game.
And a huge task for young Carlson, who played his first game last week on Dipper, the Brownlow medalist.
He copped Merv Neagle last week, so he's run into a couple of goodies. Hawks deep in attack, but the Bears turn them out. Micken just off the back line. Bernie Harris from half-back. Williams. Now, will they be a bit more direct today? They haven't shown any signs of that so far. And a throw-in still on the Hawks' attacking side of the wing.
And Dipper's had, that's number 9 there, has had 3 possessions already, almost got a 4th, and decides to push his socks down and get away from those muscly legs. Micken again down to Williams. Williams tackled by Tuck. Campbell out wide. Carlson gets his first kick. Underneath it, McCarthy. Punched away from him over the line. Interesting to see that McCarthy's opponent is the normal fullback, Langford, who's come out to centre half-back to look after his old teammate, Michael McCarthy.
Rocky Edmund, as he was called by Chairman Paul Cronin at lunch, the man who tangled with a journalist after the Bears' hammering last week, is a long way up the ground, named at full forward. Hine is standing at full forward at the moment, and Edmund up on a half-forward flank, being manned by Chris Mew. So it looks as though he does have a key forward post.
And Brad Hardy is lined up in the forward pocket instead of the back pocket, and Gary Ayres is manning him up.
Langford gains ground for the Hawks. Pritchard runs onto it. Forward of the centre. Goes for Curran. Good pass. No, just too far for him. Roberts. Pressure from Dunstall. Held. Was he in possession? The umpire says yes. Loveridge sprays it. Out on the full. And the Bears gain respite with a free kick.
O'Keefe, I think. O'Keefe out wide. Very good kick it was too. I think it probably is, as Kevin has said, it's a very strong breeze. Here comes Bernie Harris kicking into it. Back to the centre of the ground, and Richardson takes the mark. This will be the first time they get real bad play. It was the hand pass, it was just a bit too quick for Williams, and it's flummed, and the opportunity to make their first forward move has been frustrated by a bit of sloppy play between 2 of their good ones. It'll be bounced again.
Between the centre and half-forward lines, Micken beautifully to Williams. Reaches the centre. McCarthy against his former club. Played in a premiership side with Hawthorn, in fact 2. Kennedy to Green to half-forward. Morris versus O'Keefe. Morris, a great success in attack this year with the Hawks. Was that out on the full? Not quite. And the throw in between the wing and Hawthorn's half-forward flank.
Yes, I think Tim Morris is probably just about the most improved player in league football this year. Into the state side and richly deserves it. Schwab Back towards centre-half forward. Nicely picked up by Gibson. Down towards the centre of the ground. And there's the quiet man, Chris Mew. Out to Kennedy. Kennedy out wide towards the flank, and it's all Hawthorn players if they can get to the ball before it crosses the line. Platten can. Curran asked for the call, doesn't get it, and across it goes, and O'Keefe takes it through with him. And well played, David O'Keefe, and that's another behind to Hawthorn.
And the Bears still haven't got the ball beyond the centre in 9 minutes of play in this match. Roberts goes for Carlson, gives him a big task, one out with Dipper. The brute, well tackled, penalised, holding the ball, and away go the Bears. Rains to the centre line, the ball really holding up in the breeze, beautifully judged by Jenke. On the wing, Langford inside, awkward for him. Loveridge held when not in possession, obvious free kick, very poor tackle, and Loveridge puts the Hawks back into attack.
Short.
Just chips it too far for Deere. Mickham backwards, Campbell pressured out of it, support from Hardy.
Hardy on the back line at this stage, and a good one to Jim Edmund. Edmund gets a nice bounce, then slips, tackled by Mew. Good hand pass to Carlson. Carlson very evasive. Kick is not good. Down towards Hardy, picked up by Langford, and a lovely smother that time by Stacey. Carlson dives at it with Jenke. Tuck to Langford, and Langford back towards centre-half forward, and a good lead. Disputing it with his teammate was Reynolds. Reynolds takes the mark away from O'Keefe.
Goes for Rains, who's got loads of opposition. Well supported by Walsh. Banfield puts the Bears into attack, and they have a great scoring chance. Richardson from 40. Low into the wind, too low. Edmund, not quite. Ayres, and the Hawks out of danger. Bad miss, Kennedy. Wins it back. Nicely inside, and the Hawks are out of danger.
Pritchard
downfield. Russell Green very clever to Loveridge, doing well. Loveridge long down towards the flank. Behind is Curran. Platten scurrying along looking for it. And picks it up beautifully. And left foot snaps but misses. Well, it was a wonderful run. He got it, did he? Well, the quietness of the stand confused me. And Johnny Platten, I was just turning to Kevin Barton saying what a wonderful runner he is. What a wonderful season he's had, Kevin.
Well, Bernie Harris has got the tag and jewel on Johnny Platten. Obviously, Peter Knights sees Platten as one of the real stars of Hawthorn's side. And, of course, it was knocked over the head, and Platten, with that magnificent pace, really accelerated, and on that left boot, kicked a typical Rovers goal. So certainly he's a very dangerous player, Platten, and along with Loveridge, who has been very good player in this first quarter, two players who the Bears really have to keep a close watch on.
Hine on the ball for Hawthorn, for the Bears, who trail by 20 points. Hawthorn using the wind well. Pritchard to half forward. Walsh, good pressure though from the Hawks. Throw in on the half forward flank. As you're noticing, we're having a few technical problems. There's Jeansy wearing the glasses and looking very distinguished. The new look, the man who was given an Order of Australia in the recent honours listings, and certainly deserving it for his services to football. Rains, but the hand pass is not good. Pritchard across ground, Curran at centre-half forward. As I was saying, we're having a few technical problems. We're working on rectifying those, and hopefully they won't plague us for much longer this afternoon. Now Curran is just outside 50 metres. Testing kick, but with the wind at his back, the distance is gettable. He's got it. He's got the accuracy too. And Hawthorn have got their fourth goal in 12.5 minutes. They lead by 26 points, and the Bears couldn't have got a worse start.
I think, Tim, it is a 6-goal breeze, though. It's blowing very, very strongly. And we saw before when Michael Richardson, inside the 50 metres, couldn't make it to the goal square because the wind really did hold the ball up. And Hawthorn have got away a good start with the breeze, and Curran is one of their most dangerous half-forward flankers, playing in front.
That's another greatly improved player, is Kevin Curran. Up goes Hine and did well on the ball that time. Hine has had not much chance to do any rucking because Mark Micken has been such an outstanding success for the season, the captain. Now it's another bounce in the centre. And no restrictions now, of course, and about 20 players come in to look for the contest. Over the back from Deere towards McCarthy and Langford. McCarthy did it pretty well. Richardson, McCarthy, brilliant. Lovely play to Campbell. Campbell boots it downfield. Up goes Abbott. Nice ball by Micken. Micken's got to get a hand pass out quickly. Can't do so. And bad luck to the Swans, to the Brisbane Bears. They played that very, very well. And McCarthy in particular was outstanding. And Micken almost got it out.
26 plays, nothing. Almost 14 minutes into the first term at Carrara. Hawthorn in front, kicking with the wind. Edmund scouts as Mew got the knock. Clever snap. One behind, and the Bears at least are on the board. Their full forward, Jim Edmund, who had a bad one in every way last Sunday, the day I think he'd like to forget, and he ultimately, we're told, copped a $2,000 fine for misconduct after an altercation with the journalist in the rooms. Has started with a bit of purpose and kicked their first score. Airs out to half-back. Mew long off the ground to the wing, and the ball will go over the line for a throw-in.
I think a good indication of the breeze there, Kev. Mew just kicked off the ground and it scurried away for about 40 metres.
And I think it's a good move by Peter Knights to have Neil Hine run in the ruck and giving Micken a bit of a break also, because Micken could be a dangerous player down there in the goal square, taking a few big grabs.
Yes, maybe when they've got the breeze behind them, it'll be a bit more significant. There's Mark Williams. Brad Hardy on the forward line, which we've personally thought would be a wonderful idea to put probably the most skilled player they've got up there, but he's not seeing much of the ball at the moment. Deere out wide. Williams punches it out. Jeffrey Rains doing well once again. Dodges beautifully, but will take a free kick for a tackle that was high. Can't find anybody really to give it to. So he says, McCarthy, it's your turn to try and do it again. Reynoldsson goes up with him. Pritchard clever to Kennedy. Kennedy to Platten. Platten takes it and took it well. The umpire says it was long enough. Out wide, there's only one person at home, and Brereton fumbles very badly. That was really bad football. Banfield kicks it away, and a wonderful opportunity lost by the Hawks. And I'm sure that Professor Alan Jeans will not approve of that one when Dermot Brereton lost concentration completely and fumbled when he was alone.
14 is Deere, 15 is Hine for the Bears. Schwab over the ball, and a bounce on the half-forward line for Hawthorn, who lead 26-1 after 16 minutes in the first term. The Hawks holding second position on percentage. A win today will put them second outright, a game behind Carlton at the top. High tackle and a free kick going the way of Banfield at half-back for the Bears. Down in the bottom four, and after their fifth win of the season, or at least some respectability after a very bad one last week. Ball over the line, throw in on the wing.
And Chris Mew, who punched that ball away from McCarthy. I always think it'd be a terrible assignment to be playing against Mew. He's so effective. Campbell tackled, and very well tackled by Deere. Ball was held to him. And we'll see another bounce, about centre wing position. The Hawks have got 4 goals too, with a very strong breeze behind them. The Bears have scored 1 point only. Deere over the back. Fighting for it was Tuck. Banfield took one and will take a free kick. Tries the hand pass to Rains, who's getting a bundle of kicks. Langford in front. Jim Edmund did well to then make front position. Richardson lost it. Kennedy brilliant. Dipper gets yet another kick and drives them into attack out wide. Up he goes to Brereton. Didn't hold it. Behind the chance for Reynoldsson. And eventually the umpire's whistle blows, indicating there's going to be a free kick to young Stephen Reynoldsson.
We have the job on Brereton. Hawthorn with that star-studded forward line. Lots of goal-kicking talent up there this year. Mew with judgment. Couldn't hold it. Carlson just scrambling the kick forward. Now Walsh from the half-forward flank centres for Micken. Good bounce for him. No one there for the hand pass. Very misguided hand pass. Ayres to Dipia Domenico. Bad bounce. Micken putting pressure on. And the Bears force a ball up and manage to keep it inside their half-forward line. Peter Knights can only agonise about a hand pass that went wrong when a goal might have been there.
Yes, I think he can't believe it. Micken got to the ball so well. He had only one intention, that was the hand pass, and then he just couldn't find anyone to give it to. Richardson, Rains underneath it, so was Ayres. There's Tuck. Dippy Domenico and O'Keefe will go above him and punch it out towards Carlson. Well, good ball handling. Look out, Banfield. Look out, Williams too. Back it goes to Carlson. That was good. Carlson from 50 metres out. Brad Hardy from behind. And what a sensational leap over the top of one of the best marks in the league in Gary Ayres. And that was really a leap, Kev.
It was a great mark, but very well set up. You see, right over the top there. He had to sit on Ayres, but what was impressive was young Carlson, the pick-up and the clean ball handling skills to then hand pass it out, to run on, take the ball, and then centre that kick. And he was impressive against the Swans, and the Bears kicked this certainly through the good play of Carlson.
Yes, they might have found a player of the future. That was a sensational mark of Hardy's. And let's not underestimate it, because he's not big. And he's very, very thick, as we always say. No, I mean in stature. But a beautiful leap that time over the top. There it is again.
And he's always had the ability to kick a goal, Brad Hardy, when he's been placed down on the forward line. It's just going to be interesting to see whether Peter Knights plays him on that forward line for all the day, or whether he's going to play one quarter in the pocket and next quarter in defence.
Much decorated player is Bradley Hardy, the 85 Brownlow medalist. Last year's B&F at Footscray, and now finds himself at another club after some unusual circumstances. Reins held high. The umpire saw it as well as we did and gave the free. Now a chance for O'Keefe from forward of the centre line, and the Bears with a head of steam. Bad kick, but falls almost well for them. Platten. Jenke now under pressure. Mew forced backwards. Bad bounce for Ayres. Still a chance for the Bears to do something. Ayres in the back line. Goes across ground to nobody in particular. Carlson runs onto it. Richardson. 45 out. Just beats the tackle. Edmund under pressure. Well done, Dippy Domenico. Platten held when not in possession, and it's a free kick to Platten, and the ball will come back for him to take it.
Oh, what bad ball handling by Jim Edmund that time. Carlson's shown him a lesson. He really had a wonderful opportunity. Morris punched away at the last moment by O'Keefe, but really, Jim Edmund, really, a player of his experience shouldn't miss one like that. Russell Morris downfield. Brereton's a huge leap. Picked up by Swab. No distance. Curran will get a Butte bounce. Then kicks it down to Dunstall. Oh, well done.
Beautiful pass.
Wasn't a good one. And you couldn't blame the refrigerator behind him, the big fella, Mark Roberts. He just couldn't make up the pace, but the pass was so good. Here's Jason Dunstall, who's kicked one already.
That was Gary Shaw preparing to come on. The Bears getting ready to make a change.
Dunstall kicks for goal, and Dunstall kicks it very, very well. That's his second, and what a good season he's had. He's kicked 41 goals this season. That's 43, counting the two today.
And he's got the ability to lead very quickly, Jason Dunstall. When he first came from Queensland to Hawthorn, he was a lot heavier than what he is now, obviously not as fit. But even then, he showed the ability that he had that quick pace over the first 10 metres, and that lead then demonstrated that he can make space between him and his opponent, and beautiful kick from Curran just made football look easy on that occasion.
Almost 22 minutes gone in the quarter. The next 7 or 8 will be very important in this match as Carlson tries to put the Bears into attack, doesn't go far. Dippy Domenico, Pritchard on the centre line, long with the wind. It's not a great kick. Platten from behind. Morris. The paddle went astray. Walsh. Bernie Harris back inside to Walsh. Just beats the Curran tackle. Pritchard again doing well on that wing. Now Russell Green, 50 metres out. Has a long blaze away and kicks well. The Hawks get their 6th. And they lead by 31 points at the 22.5-minute mark.
Well, they're doing everything right, Hawthorn, because often with the breeze you can spray your kicks and shoot from too far out, but so far they've really been on target, and Russell Green there hit the post in the first quarter, first scoring point of the match. But their kicking is quite delightful, and at this particular stage, Hawthorn with their tap-ons, they always have 2 or 3 players around the ball. They never seem to be able to go at the ball by themselves without a teammate being there and talking and helping them. But of course they've got this strong breeze, and so far the Bears have put up a reasonable performance against this wind.
Schwab. picked up there and driven downfield in front. Richardson, very good catch, that one. Richardson now, he's been quite impressive, and what a good kick it is too. Just over Range's head, bad luck. Big Hind comes in and did it very well. Out to Carlson, a great smother by Domenico. In comes McCarthy. Diving on it was Williams, Tuck as well. And opportunity lost, but good defensive football. And Bertie looks as if that might have hurt his hurtful ear too. I think I would have had a great big helmet on if it had been mean today. In come the big fellows again. Carlson doing particularly well now in the later part. Jim Edmund to a great chance and an excellent mark against a man in Langford who's a good spoil, and well done, Jim Edmund. Very difficult mark, that one.
It was a top mark, and probably would have got a free kick for over the shoulder as well.
And he has a very difficult shot for goal. He's going to try a short pass, no good. Terrible, straight to Loveridge. Loveridge then kicks out of bounds, just made it. If ever a man judged it well, he did then. A couple of inches from the line, that will be thrown in.
I don't know whether they've been practicing that one at Glenferrie Oval, but it was pretty good.
Looks like Evans, the newcomer to the Bears lineup, is off. Gary Shaw's on the field for Brisbane. Banfield it was. As Abbott boots Hawthorn out of their defensive zone. Curran, there's a tap to Domenico. It wasn't a tap on, it was a tap back, but it was good. Platten on the centre line, half volley. Green to space on the half-forward line. Could be dangerous for the Bears. 3 groups of 2 running at it. The first one there is the refrigerator. Well done. Mobile refrigerator. Pritchard, who's been very quick and mobile on the wing. Might get a goal from 40 metres. And he's gone close. He's just missed. The Hawks third behind. They lead by 32 points as we tick into time on.
He's played pretty well, number 41, young Darren Pritchard, but I guess it's a super side to play in. There's all sorts of hand passes come flipping out towards you, but he's done it quite nicely on that outer wing. He's got a good opponent in Philip Walsh, and there's number 27.
Waiting for the footy, and while he does, that bunch is really on the huddle, as they call it, on the half-forward line with about 15 or 20 players, and now they're starting to branch out.
He was born in Victoria, this big fellow, came from Sydney when he originally played for Sydney Swans, and going steadily north at Brisbane, looking for Mark Micken. Great mark. Left foot is smothered. Oh, down went Range. Might have taken a free through Micken's legs. Deer cleverly out wide. Intercepting in front of Domenico, and the umpires are letting it go. Range again. There's Schwab. Nicely picked up by Campbell. Campbell out very, very wide. Mark Williams touches it just before it went over the line out of bounds, which was well done. It will be thrown in.
26 minutes gone. A 32-point lead to the Hawks. Kevin suggesting the wind is worth 5 or 6 goals. If the Bears could hold them for the next 5 minutes, they might just about have broken even after a very bad start to this first term. Now, away go the Bears through Campbell to half-forward. Richardson, awkward one to keep in play, proved beyond him. A throw in on the Bears' half-forward flank. If they could kick a goal in the last 2 or 3 minutes, well, it might just about give them the first quarter honours. So if they could work it forward from here, they could really achieve something. Mew beautifully with the left hand. Put Kennedy, well, under pressure.
Evans.
High tackle, Evans free kick. Bit lucky, I thought, as he tried to barge his way through, but the umpire's seeing it his way. The former Cat. Centres, Hine, late on the scene, and well judged and taken by Ayres.
Strong as Ayres, and here's the muscle man of all time with a beautiful pair of shoulders. Langford very long downfield. Over the back is Johnny Platten, races away from his shadow, turns and twists and looks to kick it across and centre it, and it's well centred to Dunstall. Dunstall marks. No, he missed it. The umpire's whistle, I thought, had gone, and he missed what he should have taken, and then it's hotly contested against him by Michael Gibson, playing his first game for the Sydney Swans, and it'll be bounced. Played about 3 games for Fitzroy, and now appearing up in the Sunshine State,
where the sun is shining after a lot of very wet weather over the last few weeks. Quite humid today. Touch of the subtropical about it. Bears free kick on the half-back line to get them out of defence. Gibson, Walsh, Bernie Harris. They're fiddling as they fiddled last week, but this time they fiddle their way out of trouble. For the moment, well taken by Mew in front of McCarthy. Still up towards Hawthorn's half-forward line, so the half-back, who is just about at his 150th, and hasn't he done it so quietly and unobtrusively? And he's having a shot from 65 metres. It'll be a monster if he could do it. It is a monster, but it's not quite there. Brereton is paid. Yes, good enough, says the umpire, and I'd agree with that. Two fairly decisive grabs at it, and just not enough opposition as Brereton flew in the square.
Well, we can see Reynoldsson in the front position, and that's the place to be. But unfortunately, he didn't have any teammates coming across the top going for the punch.
Too easy for the Hawthorn. Dermot Brereton kicks Hawthorn's 7th, his own first. And at the 29-minute mark of the term, the margin is 38 points.
When the ball is kicked long into the goal square like this, Reynoldsson has done the right thing. He's taken up the front position, but we can see there, waiting down is O'Keefe, who really should have contested strongly from behind to punch that ball either through the goals or certainly towards the boundary line. It's no good waiting down on the ground and letting the opposition take a mark.
Dermot Brereton playing his 99th game, as one can see on the screen there, and what an eventful 99 games it has been. His first appearance in league football was in the semi-final, and he kicked 5 goals incidentally, and that's been the pattern of his spectacular career. And there is the siren for quarter time, and with a very strong assistant breed, the Hawks lead 7-3, 45 points to the Brisbane Bears 1-1-7 points.
Dunstall, the only man to have kicked more than 1 goal in the match, has 2. Hawthorn's other 5 kicked by Loveridge, Brereton, Curran, Green and Platten. Hardy has the Bears' solitary goal. A 38-point lead to Hawthorn. A good start by the hot favourites in this match. At quarter time, 7-3 because Reynoldsson has been dragged back 15 metres on the mark. And instead of being on the threshold, and I think just outside range, Brereton is now well within range from about 35 metres. And he kicks it very well for his 2nd goal, Hawthorn's 8th. It came in 30 seconds at the start of the 2nd quarter, and that is just what the Bears didn't want.
No, they certainly did not. They really needed to get the ball out of the centre and start attacking, because a quick goal would have lifted their confidence. Of course, with Hawthorn scoring against that breeze, it's going to give them the confidence now that goals can be kicked at that far end.
Yes, he's looking in superb form the last few weeks, Dermot Brereton. He's got just so much grace and style about his play. He's got a beautiful leap and a surprising pace. He accelerates beautifully. Really, he's got about everything as Dermot. In comes Micken. Pritchard out to Swab. Again, tapped off by Deere. Johnny Platten having a magnificent season. Trundles out in front of him. Hand passes out wide, and there's always some there to give support, and the support is there from Jenke across to Brereton, who misses a difficult diving one. Could have taken a free kick. It's kicked by Jim Edmund there in centre wing position. Picked up there and over from Stacey. Down it goes to Shaw. Shaw then steadies and kicks it long in the Hardy direction. Oh, beautiful mark there by Gary Ayres.
Great match of skill, and Ayres coming out on top. Across ground to Loveridge as the Hawks switch play and do it superbly with Loveridge in space. He was in a hectare as the ball found him. Not such a great kick though, and taken by Gibson on the centre line. First gamer for the Bears, having played about 5 for Fitzroy. Kicks low to half forward. Tuck doing well. Ayres backwards, not so well. Push in the back. Free kick to Jenke as Abbott was running onto it. But Jenke, who was doing the shepherding, got the push fair and square in the back and takes it out to Pritchard. Beyond Platten. Now he runs onto it. What a season he's having. He's brought down by the leg. And a free kick to the Hawks. The ball will have to come back to Platten, who's on the wing.
Well, he finished 4th in the Brownlow medal last year, and I would think at this particular stage he'd be well up in the voting again. He has had a great season, Johnny Platten.
Super season. And Matthew Larkin be giving him a shake too after the way he played on Friday night. Out wide it comes, and Deere gets an awkward bounce. Gathers in with skill for the big long fellow, and then steadies and looks for Brereton. He's the right one to look for too, and the free kick is going to Dermot. And Reynoldsson lowering his colours at this stage, who's had a wonderful season, is Stephen Reynoldsson. Oh, there's a 15-metre penalty again. It's not against Stephen Reynoldsson. Out wide it goes looking for Curran. Up goes Gibson with him and punches it down. Well, Dunstall had a great opportunity there, but his teammate took it away. Well played, Gibson. Back to Rains. Rains, long, and Mark Micken goes running with it. It's not his ball. Over Kennedy it goes. Richardson gathers in beautifully, steadies and gets it across to Micken. Micken wants to give it back to somebody, then decides to kick and kicks it very well. Out wide, and the mark is taken by Jim Edmonds. Well, Mark Micken, that was cool and deliberate and executed beautifully. Here it comes to Jim Edmonds. And at the peak of the spring, but Micken took his time, wasn't flustered as he was in the first quarter, looking for a hurried hand pass, and delivered it right about 35 metres from goal, and Jimmy Edmonds puts it through. And that's the goal they wanted, KB.
Yes, that's the one kicking with the breeze, and it came from a good piece of play, and young Gibson, who, as you said, Doug, a former Fitzroy player, has done particularly well. He's had Curran to mind, and at this particular stage, even though Curran has a goal, Gibson has been a good player, and a beautiful kick from Mark Micken. And if they can run the ball down and utilise their skills and not waste the ball, they could kick quite a few goals in this quarter because, as we've mentioned, it is a strong breeze.
Edmund with more than any other Brisbane player this year. Goals, that is, 29 to his credit. And his career total is not too far short of 300. He's number 20 for Brisbane. And as Doug said, that's the one they really needed. Almost 5 minutes gone in the term, and it keeps them in touch in view of the fact that they're kicking with the wind. The Big Dipper is well caught, I would have thought, but he gets a free kick. And from just behind the centre can put the Hawks into attack. He stayed on the near wing. His opponent of the first quarter, Carlson, has gone to the other side of the ground. Schwab, who's playing on Rains in the centre. Kennedy from half forward. Dunstall again, proving a handful for Roberts. He's having another tough day this week after copping Warwick Kappa last week. And Dunstall should kick his third from just 30 metres out, almost directly in front. Very reliable is he. With set shots for goal, I'll be surprised if he misses even into the wind. He doesn't. The Hawks have 2 in this quarter against the wind. They have 9 for the match, and they lead the Bears by 44 points.
And Roberts would find Dunstall a different opponent than Kappa, who last week played from behind, but Dunstall is a player who always plays in front and is always ready to lead. But Alan Jeans has started off kicking into the breeze with Brereton at centre-half forward, Dunstall at full forward, and no other player on the forward line. All other players are up on the wing and on the square. So there's heaps of room for the Hawthorn forwards to get the ball out, kicking into the breeze. And, of course, that's the reason behind that is so that Dunstall and Brereton can lead and they can kick the ball low to them out in front.
Almost goes back to the Peter Hudson days when he had a furlong to operate in, Kev. Here they come again. Here's Dipper Domenico doing very well. And it's one-on-one out there. Brereton up and a great spoil by Reynoldston. And a free kick will go against Jeffrey Wales. Taken by Green. But they really are leaving an acre of space for the players up there. Morris, incidentally, got a lot of space now. Eventually looking for Morris. Front position. Punched away from him. Nicely taken there by Banfield. Platten, lightning football. Dunstall his 4th goal. Platten's been an absolute dynamo. And the Alan Jeans tactics described by Kevin Bartlett is just so effective. It's lovely to be one-on-one on the forward line, Kevin.
Yes, Doug, and what it's also doing, of course, it's causing a big pile-up at that centre square. Once the ball is bounced, players come in from everywhere, and when the ball does go down to their forward line, they've got all those players running with the flight of the ball, and at the moment they've been at the foot of the packs. And we saw that lightning hand pass from Platten. A couple of his tackles today have been absolutely fantastic. He's just like a terrier, Johnny Platten.
And his hands just so quick. The Hawks 50 points in front. Edmund, who's kicked the Bears' only goal in this quarter. Scrambled kick, no one there for them. Campbell the knock-on. McCarthy, but always under pressure. Jenke, Kennedy. Towards the wing, Tuck. Oh, beautiful use of the hip. Just the slyest little nudge. And Tucky, the skipper, kicks to the centre line, where Micken said let it come, and Russell Green obliged.
Micken's been a superb mark throughout the season. Richardson in lots of trouble. Follows on very strongly and then hand passes straight to Jenke. Jenke out to Kennedy. Kennedy, the half-back flank, sends it long down looking for Brereton. Brereton goes one-handed. Down goes Curran. Micken again with the hand pass. Awkward one. Well fought, Carlson. Carlson gets yet another possession. And I think they might have found something from Southport, which is beaut for the Brisbane Bears. Good kick it was too to McCarthy, who's battled well there at centre-half forward. And now McCarthy, long, long way out from goal. Kicks it looking for Jimmy Edmund. Up it goes, and over the back it's Hardy. He's caught, took a long time, gets it to Hine. Hine then shoots for goal and kicked it out of bounds.
Well, he could have been a bit stiff there not getting a free kick, Doug, because he was tackled high. And I would have thought that Hardy deserved a free kick.
I thought he might have been lucky it didn't go the other way.
Well, he twisted his body. I mean, he is playing the ball, and he's the guy who's making the play, and he was caught high. And I feel under those circumstances, you've got to give him every opportunity.
Here's the free kick out to half-back. Langford gaining 30 metres. Loveridge still really on the Bears' half-forward flank. Mark Williams, Kennedy, it's still in play. Can't take it over even if they try. Deer. Kennedy again, and the Hawks somehow magically come away. Tuck, and the old legs are still working well for him. He's forwarded the centre line now. Kicks to Dipia Domenico at half forward. Well done. Free kick to the Bears. I think it was Walsh with front position against the Dipper, and he takes the free from half-back and kicks them into attack. Kennedy in front, having a big quarter so far. Held McCarthy, but no free. Carlson now. Good hand pass. Richardson in space. 50 metres from goal with the left boot. Hine couldn't quite cut the distance quickly enough. And it's a behind. The Bears second. They trail 63-14 by 49 points.
It was a bad kick there of Michael Richardson,
yes,
because really he wasn't under any pressure, and he has got good skills, and kicking with the breeze, the distance wasn't a worry. It was just a poorly executed kick.
I was thinking the same thing, Kev. He did absolutely nothing with it. He had so much time to do it. In the meantime, the ball is whipped up to about half-back flank for Hawthorn as Deer follows it over the line out of bounds, and Mark Micken, who I stress once again, has really been a wonderful captain, goes up with Deer, beautifully down to Rains. Rains then hooks it back down towards the half-forward flank, and Johnny Platten underneath the ball probably went over the line out of bounds on the full. It did, and the little man's got yet another kick.
Little man who's just about one of the best footballers in the competition in this year. There wouldn't be many more effective players in the game at the moment. Deer, Tuck. Loveridge goes backwards. Kennedy, copious possessions in this quarter. Brereton, a fine mark. A lot of pressure, but what an aerialist he is. From behind the wing, kicks onto the centre line. Schwab now cutting the distance between himself and the goals, and no one coming at him. From 40 metres, low into the wind, off direction. And the Hawks fourth behind. Should have kicked it, although into the wind they're not easy.
Yes, it's a tough one. There's Peter Schwab, who's played in the centre with great distinction since he's got the chance, with Bucky sitting back there in the studio. That's the position I guess he'd like to have and would have. Out wide, Bertie goes up and takes a good mark. And looks to give a short one out wide. He was thinking of giving it to Russell Green, changed his mind. We're looking very distinguished now. Talks, then kicks it high. Brereton again, almost took a good one. Recovering well and hitting it wide out was Michael Gibson, but Curran's the man with the ball. Hand passes out to Loveridge. Loveridge does it well, and tumbling on it, guess who? Jason Dunstall, having a beautiful afternoon in front of his old teammates. Came from Brisbane, kicks it short and kicks it well. Just missed. Picked up and driven downfield by Banfield. Out wide it goes, and nicely done over there by Stacey. Stacey to Mark Williams. Williams now a bit slow, and then gets it short and did it well to Richardson.
Wanting to play on. And 15 metres is the result of all that. He's rather lucky because the rules say that if a player feints to hand pass these days, the umpire can deem that he's played on. He didn't on that occasion. Ayres, Jenke, between full-back and half-back lines. Loveridge, who's on the half-back line now and will kick Hawthorn towards the centre of this vast Carrara oval. Very low into the breeze. O'Keefe backwards, but effectively. Gibson to half forward. Bouncing wild. Ayres running onto it. Kicks poorly, though, under pressure. Bernie Harris, high. Edmund getting under it. It's Micken, in fact. Running onto it now is the skipper. Well played by the captain. Oh, and that's a fine goal. A real captain's effort. Not the first time that he's led by such great example this year. And the margin back to 44 points.
Well, he has been a great player, and he has been a real find for the Brisbane Bears. Mark Micken, the former captain of West Adelaide. And Tucky's there, and he picked up, just did the blind turn and executed some small man skills to pop through what was a very good goal. And we can see the excitement there of Micken, and maybe that goal can inspire his teammates, who at this stage the Bears are still kicking a bit short considering they've got the breeze. We noticed Hawthorn were able to kick goals from 50-55 metres out, whereas the Bears are looking to pinpoint passes.
Here they go downfield once again. In front is Williams. Oh, Platten, look at him. Off he goes again, out to Loveridge. Loveridge has tons of time to steady and kick it long. Dunstall's out there in front. An opportunity, nice play there by Walsh, and then he slipped. Lost there. Oh, and here comes Morris, and Morris left foot to goal. The immediate reply, and what a magnificent side the Hawks do look. 11-4-64 to 3-2-20, and you couldn't get a quicker reply than that, Kev.
No, and Evans is on for the Bears, and Stacey is off. The open forward line is causing a lot of problems for the Bears because the ball is coming down quickly for Hawthorn, and the Bears will have to run down in numbers to try and block up those open spaces.
50 points the margin. Round figures, 70-20. 15 minutes into the second quarter. Curran, Platten in pursuit. Legitimate tackle that time is the ruling. Morris to half forward. Rains under it, takes it well, read it nicely in the wind. Started well, but has faded a bit since the first 15 minutes or so. Kicks nicely to the centre line. McCarthy in front. Mew with the big spoil. Kennedy, bit of a fumble. And a ball up. Just the Bears' attacking side of the centre.
There's so much height in this Hawthorn side. John Kennedy, for example, is 6'3" under the old scale.
And he's playing on the half-back flank.
Playing the half-back flank, and Curran on a half-forward flank will be 6'3" or 4". It's unbelievable, the height of this side. Kicked by Campbell downfield. Brad Hardy gets a very unlucky bounce. Richardson comes through and lost the run of it badly. And there it was lost there by Abbott. Hardy dives at it. He's caught. Picked up by Mew. Mew always seems to have tons of time. And Loveridge is out there in centre wing getting a bundle of kicks. And then sends it long, looking for Brereton, running with the flight of the ball. Brereton gets the bounce. He'll give it across to Curran. Now he changes his mind, says, Dunstall, your turn. And it was the most perfect pass.
Well, I feel a bit sorry for Roberts there, because there's nothing he can really do about that. This open forward line is just too much for the Bears at the moment.
What a beautiful pass it was. Just hammered into him, and Dunstall comes in and kicks for goal. Kicks it off direction this time. Was it pushed through or pushed over the line? Boundary umpire poised over the top of it, watching and talking. Brereton smiling. The game is...
I think he thought he marked it.
Thought he marked it. Dermott, and it's going to be bounced. Out it comes towards O'Keefe, and this time it is out of bounds.
And Knightsey looking down the barrel of a 50-point deficit. 17 minutes into the second quarter. Whistle, free kick, Hawthorn's way. Shepherd, Morris. Dipper wants it. Morris will take it. 25 metres out. He kicked the last goal. Scrambled snapshot. This one a set shot. Looks simpler. But it's blowy out there. And he's kicked atrociously. And he's missed everything. There's 21 metres of scoring space there. And he couldn't find 1 centimetre of it as Peter Banfield leaves the field and Gary Shaw is back on.
Well, Morris, who last year was a half-back flanker, this year played with great distinction across the half-forward line and has averaged just on 23 possessions a match, which is a giant contribution. That wasn't good. Reynoldsson and Morris. Reynoldsson won it beautifully. That's the first time we've seen him take a big one. And he easily leaves the marks taken for his team, the Brisbane Bears, with 6.5 average a week. Out to Walsh. This is good-looking football to Gibson. Gibson centre wing, or to give it a big one, I think. Out wide to Campbell. Campbell onto his right foot, decides on a big one downfield. Good leap there, and a great leap, and a fine mark by Evans. Just about his first touch, and what a good touch it was, because he wasn't in the best of positions, and he got in front of Langford and outpointed him, and always on the ball with a vengeance, and has got the chance to goal for the Brisbane Bears, who are languishing at 3-2 behind the Hawks 11-4. In comes Evans now. He's about 35 metres, I guess, from goal. That looks all right to me. And that's good to see. They're hard to win against this mighty Hawthorn side. That's the 4th goal to the Brisbane Bears, 4-2 to 11-4.
And a confidence booster for Evans, who has been on and off the ground a couple of times already during the game. But a good piece of play set up by Reynoldsson at centre-half back.
Big mark of his, Kev, wasn't it, that one, of Reynoldson's?
Yes, he's been in really good touch as far as marking is concerned. And we saw last week must have taken something like 11 marks.
Yes,
Doug.
he did, yeah.
And he's a lovely kick. We'd just like to see the Bears, you know, kick the ball a bit deeper into the forward zone, because that's where you're going to worry the opposition when you've got it in that 30-metre radius.
Approaching the 20-minute mark. 44-point margin in Hawthorn's favour as Campbell kicks very high. Awkward for Mick, and Hardy, open goal. His second, and the Bears get their second in the space of 30 seconds. Their 5th for the match. It's the closest they've been for a while, but they still trail by 38 points.
And that's the sort of play that we've been speaking about. If you kick the ball long with this breeze and you have it within the vicinity of the 20-metre mark, 25-metre mark, anything can happen. That's the danger area. And we see Hardy there just strolling into goals.
That's the right description.
I think he can run faster than that, by the way, Doug.
That's the easiest goal one had ever seen. Did you get any easier than that one?
I don't think so.
You're 599 or something. It goes down towards Dermot Brereton once again, and he's well in front of his opponent. And Morris has got lots and lots of time too against him. Oh, he took a heavy one from Jim Edmund, and he really felt that one.
He's out like a light.
He's out.
That was a freak incident. The umpire speaking with Edmund, and that surprises me. His number's been taken. It'll be interesting to see a replay, because I just had the feeling with the naked eye that it didn't really look all that bad, but obviously he made contact in the sweet spot.
It hurt a bit.
Well, we see Morris there.
Oh, dear.
Yes, it was a very hard blow, that one.
Well, Jim's had an eventful week or two. And here's Bertie indicating with arms wide, come out and help him, because there's not a flicker from Russell Morrison. I repeat what I said earlier, just a few moments ago, what a wonderful season he's had, averaging 22.6 possessions for the season, and high up in the marks taken.
And has made the good transition from a defender to be a forward player. James Morrissey is just taking off his dressing gown. He's going to come onto the field once Morris is placed onto the stretcher.
Yes, that's the most difficult transition too, Kev. It's a lot harder to go the other way around from forward line to back line. But Russell Morris, as proof of his season, of course, picked in the interstate match. And he really has become. Incidentally, he came from Sydney. No, he didn't come from Sydney, but his first football was played in Sydney. With North Shore, one of those local suburban clubs, and the Sydney Swans showed no interest in him, which was very fortunate for Hawthorn. His father, a long-time resident of Melbourne, of course, well known in the media circles. There's young Russell. Well, good luck, hon. When he comes to, apart from a headache, I hope he's okay.
Freak blow. Edmund's number has been taken, and it looked a little unseemly when we slowed it down, and yet to put the lights out just like that is quite remarkable, and shows that he must have just got him in a vulnerable spot, because you see the heavyweights, Kev, as you love watching them, slug it out for 15 rounds, and no one necessarily finishes up like that, and that was contact. Oh, and he was out before he hit the ground.
It's like a heavyweight.
And he's still out. So a very sad one. We were talking to Russell in the plane on the way up this morning.
You could see then he just looked as if he had regained a bit of consciousness just then,
yes.
Tim. You could see him just mouthing a few words there to the trainer there carrying the stretcher, one of the trainers there. So that's a good sign that at this particular stage it appears that, you know, he's starting now to regain consciousness, and we can see there now it's been a very, very heavy blow, and obviously he won't take any more further part in the game. We only hope that he hasn't got a jaw injury or a facial injury.
Brereton takes the free kick, and there'll be a relayed free kick now to be taken by Dunstall, and the Bears aren't really covering themselves in glory. For the second week in a row, they are receiving a drubbing, and just in the last couple of minutes, it's become something slightly embarrassing. Dunstall for number 5. Misses. Hawthorn's 5th behind. The full forward, disgusted with himself, would have liked to have rammed that through and rammed home the point. But Hawthorn in front by 39 points.
I think that just demonstrates how strong the breeze is. It's very difficult to kick into a breeze, to drop that ball really square onto the boot, and Dunstall is a very powerful kick, but for him to miss just goes to show it is quite difficult to score goals at that end.
Micken is always the target of the fullback. Mark Roberts out. He's got no one else to kick to. There's a scrimmage. Rains underneath it. Rains has been one of their best players. He's been on Swab, and Swab hasn't been sighted very often. And Rains has done his share, got his share of possessions. Well done, Deere, but straight out towards Banfield. Running towards it, McCarthy and Mew. Mew kicks it off the ground and it slithers over the line out of bounds. About centre wing position, right in front of us here in the grandstand side. And there's the famous Bertie.
(71-32), a lead of 39 points in Hawthorn's favour. Morrissey just on the ground, first possession. Not a meaningful one, and another ball up on the centre line. 25.5 minutes gone in the quarter, so we're in time on, but it will be a long one. Lengthy delay as Russell Morris was carried off. Shaw keeps it in, I thought. Boundary umpire calls it out. Shaw doesn't think it was, I don't think. Throw in, Hawthorn's attacking side of the wing.
Deere won it. Dipper Domenico's kick is smothered. Morrissey was... Here comes Dipper again. Big Deere gets a beaut bounce. Turns onto his left foot. In front. Diving out at O'Keefe. Rains trying desperately. O'Keefe with the ball. A lot of height, but the wind takes it down where Jenke will do battle with Evans. Micken. Oh, lovely pick-up, Jenke. Schwab gets an awkward one. Recovers well. Out to Morrissey. Morrissey on it goes. Back it comes a chance for Walsh. Walsh might take a free kick, I think. He will. And quickly across it goes to Harris. Harris runs a very long way. Kicks to Edmund. And takes the mark. If he's in Melbourne, he'll be booed. Up here he's clapped. He's a long, long, long way out. Kicks it downfield. Bad-looking kick it was too. And it's easily picked up by Kennedy. Backs out of trouble. On to Tuckett goes. And off they go again.
Tucky's done well. Oh, he ran a long, long way and he's been penalised. And rightly so. He just wasn't quite sure when to stop running and to getting around to kicking the ball, and took a couple of strides too many. Peter Schwab, whose dad was a top umpire in the early 60s, is laying down the law to the umps. Don't know whether Frank will like that too much. Edmund to full forward, high and a big leap. Hardy looking for goal number 3. Well done. It's the Bears' 6th. And Hardy has 50% of them. And the margin is back to 33 points.
And once again, Tim, it came from a long kick into that goal square. And anything can happen when the ball's there. It just comes off the pack. We see a bad pick up there by Ayres, and then Hardy, quick as a flash, onto the left boot, and his 3rd goal. And he's done very well in that forward pocket. I just wonder whether, when the Bears are kicking against the Blues, whether he should be playing in defence to try and hold out some of the Hawthorn thrusts.
Certainly, yes, I agree, Kev. Certainly he should be up forward as much as you can, because they lack skill up there, and they've left him in back pocket almost the whole year. But he's shown today with limited opportunities, and very limited have they been. He's kicked 3 excellent goals. First one from a super mark over the top of Ayres. 28 minutes have gone. Dear getting most of the punch-outs against Micken, who's got more than anybody else in the league over the season. Running downfield, in front at centre-half forward is Jim Edmund, goes to the ground, picked up by Langford, looking for a hand pass, past Yankee it goes. Carlson out to Williams, Micken, and this time they get a left-footer downfield. Sure. Jim Edmund shows plenty of courage as he runs into it, picked up by Tuck again. Tuck out to Ayres. Ayres' teammate gets in the road. Bertie is there. He's tackled by Walsh. Walsh will now drive it long downfield towards the teeth of goal. Over the back it goes. Mark William gets it taken away by Loveridge, and Loveridge will take a free kick. Very high around the neck was the tackle.
The Bears looking for 1, possibly 2 goals before half-time. 29 minutes have gone in the quarter. A couple would bring them back to within 20 points or so. 15 metres will bring Loveridge out to half-back. Couple of minutes left before half-time. The Bears have kicked 5 goals in the quarter, but the Hawks, against the wind, have kicked 4. They've been telling goals. Tuck and Williams, now Mew. And a throw-in.
Well, the message from the dressing room is wonderful news for Russell Morris. His recovered consciousness is okay, so that's beaut news for all football followers, and particularly those closest to him. And what a wonderful type of young man he is. That's beaut. Back in the field, there's Gary Shaw and Philip Walsh complaining about something, but another bounce. Walsh, tackled by Schwab. Taken away from Schwab by Shaw. It's out of bounds, centre wing position. It'll be a very long quarter. It was a long while Russell was floored and unconscious and waiting for a stretcher. Fighting for it was Williams. Walsh's kick smothered. They cannot get out of this ugly situation, and the umpire's quite pleased to be able to pull out a legitimate free kick for the man who's doing so much work, young John Platten, and he's about centre wing position.
I don't know what Williams is so excited about. There was no doubt about that push in the back. Gibson from behind had the sit, and at the second bite has the ball. 15 metres. He was a bit keen to play on, but realised there were Hawks everywhere. Goes for Edmund at half forward. Mew, Kennedy, Abbott. Curran in open space. No one within about 15 metres of him. Morrissey at half forward, out-positioned by Reynoldson. Rains forcing a ball up. Centre half forward for Hawthorn.
Get a lot of endeavour from your old teammate Jeffrey Rains today, Kev. He's been at the bottom of the pack a lot, I think.
He's had a terrific year, Doug.
Yeah,
it's as fit as I've seen Jeffrey for a long while, and he really is to be complimented on his season so far.
There's another man of the good year, Richard Loveridge, out wide. Oh, who was pulling who, and picked up there by Mark Roberts. Did it very well with his strength. Dippy Domenico getting easily away from Walsh, or Reynoldson tackles it. It was Walsh. Good, strong football that time by Green. Play on, advantage rule. Dipper shoots for goal, and Dipper just misses. Or did he get it? No, he just missed.
He looks fearsome.
And Russell Green down in the hands of the trainers, and that was a really courageous effort of his.
And that was a goal that Dipper should have kicked. There was no excuses for that one. He was close enough for the goal. He was well balanced, and he was under no pressure.
Hawthorn lead by 34 points. 32.5 minutes into the second term. Gary Shaw goes backwards to Walsh, former Collingwood teammates. Too far for Campbell. Morrissey to Schwab. Dunstall, one out. Good spoil by Roberts. Dunstall again. He's kicked 4 goals. Big swinger with the left boot. Just gets it behind. Hawthorn 7th. They lead by 35 points.
We're just ticking into the 33-minute mark in this very long second term. Roberts, Reynoldson's his target this time, and a beautiful kick it was, and what? I just about paid that one. The umpire didn't. Unfair enough, umpire. I was almost giving it E for effort there. He got hands to ball, and from the umpire's point of view, just didn't hold it long enough, and Stephen Renelson looking very disappointed. Micken won that one, and won it beautifully to Walsh. Walsh, a long hand passed out to Harris. Harris is well tackled by Eade, and then a nice little short pass down to Brereton, who takes them on. Well played, Curran. Beautiful understanding between Curran and Brereton. And I think I can hear the siren in the background. It's a siren that has sounded a good first half for Hawthorn. They're 11-7 as Brereton comes in to shoot for goal. And their opponents, the Bears, are 6-2. That's 73 points to 38. Almost double their score. Certainly if he gets a major. That will be the position. Brereton about 25 metres from goal. Looks a good-looking kick to me. It is a good kick. And Dermott's had a wonderful first half. He's kicked 3 goals. And at half-time, the Hawks are 12-7-79, leading the Bears 6.
This now number 11, isn't it, today?
Number 12.
Number 12.
Yep.
So not bad for 12 matches. Can only get better and will get better.
Well, the chap on your right is Kevin Bartlett, who I think would like to say that he won't be smiling because they're going badly. He might say he was right all along, but I'll give Kevin a chance to respond.
Well, no one likes to see any side down the bottom or struggling, particularly a new side in the competition. But on a positive note, it was reported that you've asked Shane O'Sullivan to maybe find some 3 or 4 players, possibly before clearances close. Any news on that front? And is that the idea at this moment, to get some more good players into the Bears side?
He's never really stopped looking, but we wanted him to see if he could find 2 or 3 forward players. You know and I know that that's where we're lacking at this point in time. That's quite obvious. But whether we can do it by June the 30th, when we've got a fortnight to go, I don't know. But certainly he will not be stopping in the next fortnight. He has got 3 or 4 players that he tells me that he may be able to bring up and have a try. But in the meanwhile, we're thrilled with the performances of the boys we're bringing up from the QAFL. I think, you know, I think that particularly Gibbo today, Carlson, playing a blinder. Teaching some of the seniors is what it's all about. So we're happy with that. But yes, he will be Shane will be trying to get some more players, particularly forward players, and at the same time getting ready for next year.
I suppose lack of performance on the field will ultimately tell at the gate, and today it looks as though it's probably only 5,000 or 6,000. Am I wrong? Is that a major concern at this moment? I
don't know how many is here today, Tim. I haven't heard the count yet. We're disappointed with that. Normally, we've got at least double that. I don't know what the other attractions are. Perhaps the weather again. I can't believe this weather up here. We keep bragging about the winter sunshine in Queensland, and we've had 1 day of sunshine. And the other, you know, the Perth match was in blinding rain, and we've had three 3 rainy days up here, the other home games up here. I can't believe it. I don't know what we've done.
Well, my next winter holiday is going to be in Tassie, not the Gold Coast.
Well, the talk of maybe the Gabba, that's also been reported in the press. Would that be a help to the crowds if the club was situated more in closer to Brisbane?
Look, it's academic. I don't know the answer to that. There's certainly a lot of Brisbane people coming down regularly to Carrara. It's a 3/4 of an hour drive from Brisbane. In Melbourne, we all know that 3/4 of an hour. I know I take an hour to get to VFL Park. So I don't see that as a problem. It's a very good road to come to Carrara. Shortly, the roads around here will be upgraded. But as to play up there, we are looking at the Gabba. We have had a proposition put to us. There is plans afoot to in very, very early days to completely revamp the Gabba. I don't know how that will work or how long it will take. We can't wait for that to, if it's years and years up the track. If it happens early next year, well, then it's a possibility. Meanwhile, as you know, we have options here for 1988 and 1989, but well and truly before the end of this year, hopefully in a couple of months or so, we'll lock into where we'll stay.
That earlier thought of Boondall's completely
gone. Boondall is out.
Carrara for 1988, you would think practically. Is there any alternative for next year?
Look, if things fell into place, Tim, in the next 2 weeks, which we're trying to do desperately, it may not be Carrara. But I think to do it, we're sick of doing things in haste. We've got a ground. There's nothing wrong with Carrara. Even if we chose our new place next year and it wasn't Carrara, then we'll play at Carrara and get the other one ready. That's the current thinking at this point in time.
At personal level, Paul Cronin's venture into football with the Brisbane Bears. Are you glad you've done it?
Love it, yeah. I think if you told me what it would have taken to get it to this point and the problems that... I don't know whether I would have taken it on from day one, but it's 99% of problems solve themselves if you give it a chance. We were very pleased to be able to A, field a team, B, have a ground to play in 6 months. And I think we've won our premiership on that score.
Do you see a long-term involvement for yourself?
Long as they'll have me.
Peter Knights a couple of times has seemed pretty disappointed over the last couple of weeks. Those first 2 wins in the first 2 games of the year, were they unexpected and maybe then gave the Bears maybe some optimism to really go higher than maybe what they're capable of doing? Well,
you should know that a team goes out to win every match, even your old side at the moment. I'm sure they say to themselves each time they go out, they're going to win. Certainly no league team goes out and says, well, we're going to get defeated today, let's go out and just do the best we can. Knightsy does take it hard. We have every faith in him. Perhaps we haven't got the talent or the depth of talent that is required to play in the top team. So we'll endeavour to help him with that top talent. Perhaps not this year, but certainly next year.
And very good for our ratings at the ABC. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Tim.
Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Which is about to get underway, and in fact is underway, with the Bears going into the half trailing by 41 points, and a lot of work to do to try and patch up their performance in this game. And Russell Green is going to put the Hawks into attack, long to half forward. Banfield. Bernie Harris back to Banfield, now Micken. And Banfield, good effort. Spent 2 stints on the interchange bench in the first half, and he's working hard at the start of the second. Hardy, who's kicked 3 of the Bears' goals. Evans, bad kick, falling short. Jenke out of defence for the Hawks. Long through the centre. The Hawks have taught the Bears a lesson, kicking the ball long when they have the wind. Brereton to Platten was great, beautifully controlled by Platten. Doubling back, going the long way, and why not? Russell Green waiting under it.
That's playing and toying with the opposition there as Brereton beating O'Keefe, and then Platten running away from Campbell. Now Russell Green kicks it long down towards the face of goal. Over the back of Gibson it goes, who's done pretty well actually, and it tumbles over the line. It's out of bounds.
Well, he has done well, Doug. He's had the task of picking up Peter Curran, and he's done that pretty well considering the amount of play that the Hawthorn side's had.
Gibson gets it off and effectively to Rains through half back. Kicks long. Evans stumbled at the crucial moment. He was going to be hopelessly outreached anyway. Mew easily to Jenke. What an improved player he is. Ayres now up on the wing. Goes long. Really unloads to half forward and hits Brereton on the chest. Down he goes, courtesy of Gibson. Got to be 15 metres. No, it's about 2 metres. I thought that'd be 15 for sure, even though it might not have been intentional. He certainly deserved a penalty. Brereton a long way out on the half-forward flank. He'll kick from almost 60 metres, but he's having a shot. Now, that shows the strength of the wind. It's right at his back out on that flank. Gets under it. Doesn't quite make it. Curran, the big leaper from behind, misjudged it. Platten, Loveridge. Couldn't quite get enough hook on it. Hooks it for a single instead of for 6. And at the 2.5-minute mark of the third term, Hawthorn leaders by 42 points.
Mark Roberts, the fullback, he's getting a big assignment every week. Capper last week. Dunstall today. Dipper Domenico, the only man there, should have held it. Hooks it back. Doesn't do it all that well. Chance for Meccan, who gets an awkward bounce and luckily goes to Platten on to Swab. Swab then has a long shot for goal and rifles it through the centre. It was absolutely beautiful. Went through about goal high. And if ever there's a wonderful competitor and trier for this Hawthorn club, it's Peter Swab, and his teammates will enjoy that.
Yes, and once again we see a Hawthorn goal coming not too far off that 50-metre mark, and Hawthorn haven't been afraid to really sink their boot into the ball, kicking with this breeze, and they've done it very, very well. And there's Johnny Platten, who gave that hand pass out, and for my money, Johnny Platten easily best player on the ground.
Yet again, and Kev, he must really be one of the early fancies or mid-season fancies for the major awards, particularly the Brownlow. I
would say that if there was a market going at the moment, he'd be favourite.
3.5 minutes gone in the quarter. The Hawks have drawn first blood. The Bears are into attack now. Fickle bounce beats the lot. Hardy for goal number 4. Well done. When he gets near the ball, he really knows how to get it and then what to do with it. And he has stood out among the Bears today. 4 goals out of their 7, but still the scoreboard looking a little bit sad for them.
And he's really given Ayres a run around there, who attacked the ball, got a bad bounce, and then of course it came back to Brad. You could say that was lucky, but he wins the ball that many times throughout his career that it's not luck. It's a bit like Peter Hudson. Everyone used to think Peter Hudson was lucky too, but he just kept kicking a lot of goals. I thought maybe they may have put Hardy into the back pocket when Hawthorn was kicking with the breeze, and then into the forward zone when the Bears were. But obviously Peter Knight's not too many people up there capable of kicking goals at the moment except for Brad.
Yes, that might have vindicated Knight's decision. Out comes Evans, overruns it. Jenke across towards Ayres. Taken on was Ayres. Hardy in the thick of things again. And against him was Abbott. And getting to his feet was Morrissey. But Brad Hardy is really a talented player. He's played a couple of the most exciting games of football I've ever seen. Bounce again. In attack. Another one here would be handy. Hardy with the ball, lost it. Chance for Hine. Kick off the ground by Morrissey. And Hardy's giving it his all. Ayres then kicks it downfield. Through Mick and it goes. Down goes Deere. Over the top goes Jeffrey Range in a clever hand pass. Out wide to Harris. Still a chance for the Bears as they thump it downfield. McCarthy down. Hines there behind the pack. And there's Langford. And Langford will get them out of danger.
State fullback, kicks beyond half-back. Kennedy, who has had heaps of possessions. Loveridge to half-forward. Curran and Brereton, the danger men, the blondes. The other blonde, Russell Morris, is out of the game. KO'd. Great play, Curran to Brereton. Now Dunstall one out with the big fridge, and Dunstall too good. Too skillful, and that time a bit too clever with his use of the body.
And too strong.
Which is saying something, because the man he's against is something of a man mountain. And Dunstall 30 metres out directly in front, going for number 5. And what a fine spearhead he is for the Hawks. Really misses the big sticks, kicks their 14th goal, and they lead again by 48 points.
I was thinking, Kev, they'll have to think about doing something with Brereton, maybe put Reynolds back there again.
Well, he's been a fantastic player, Brereton, but you know, full marks to the Hawthorn side. They are capable of keeping their forward line open, and under those circumstances, it's the players up around the centre line and on the ball who have to put tremendous pressure on their Hawthorn opponents, so that the ball can't come out of that centre square area or come off the half-back line and quickly into the forward zone, where they've got so much space down there. At the moment, there's only Dunstall in the goal square and Curran up on the 50-metre mark, and there's no other forward in that forward zone. So you've got to stop the ball from coming out and into that forward zone quickly.
Mark Williams got it down to Evans. Kick it off the ground. He does. And he thumps it through. Well, that was a bold move, and he really sunk his foot into it, and through it went for his second goal. And that's beaut for the Bears. I think the breeze has dropped just a wee bit, but if they can hold them for this third term, there's still a chance in the game for them. Here it comes, Kev.
He got a heavy knock here too. I thought he might go down in a heap. Let's have a look for it. Bang.
Well, he did so, and he kept his balance pretty well, and a bit of Pelé or Maradona. Put it straight through the centre too, didn't even deviate. But 2 goals to Craig Evans, the former Geelong player, and this is his first game for the Bears, so it's a good debut for him.
And well done the Bears so far in this quarter. There's a push in the back. Philip Walsh is free. The Hawks kicked 2. The Bears have responded on each occasion, and they're showing some fight. And as Doug says, if they can stay within this range, perhaps they could make something of it in the last quarter. Richardson from behind, but the Hawks there with the numbers. Ayres, a floater. Jenke. Oh, and their teaming is great. Loveridge to Platten. Those great little men, dynamic duo. And away goes the woolly-haired Platten with great pace and confidence. Dunstall again. Fine delivery, a very good lead. Everything about the play from right back between the full-back and half-back lines was Hawthorn premiership stuff. Dunstall for number 6 and for number 47 of the season. To edge closer to Lockett and Kappa. He doesn't. Curran, Brereton for number 4. And Dermott won't stay out of the act for very long in any game of football. He's got 4, Dunstall has 5, 9 of the Hawks' 15.
And of course that was great play by Johnny Platten, and it was left to Mark Micken to do the chasing and the running down of Platten. And of course Platten's kick found Dunstall, whose long kick is finally taken off the hands of the pack here by Brereton. And he just snapped a pretty good goal, his goal number 4. But that's where other players of the Bears, whether they're on the wing or half-back flank, have got to really get across and help their teammates in that tackling exercise. You know, big Mark Micken was left to him to try and run down Johnny Platten, who ran some 45-50 metres, and no other Bears player came from any part of the ground to put pressure on him. And that's why he was able to deliver that ball to Dunstall without, you know, any pressure on his kicking, and with that open forward line. That's what they've got to try and stop him doing, is just put some pressure on the boy with the ball.
That Brereton is amazing. His 99th game today, and that incidentally was his 210th goal since he's entered league football. And I mentioned earlier what an amazing player he's been. Look at that for lovely roving by Loveridge. Loveridge down to centre half forward, and an excellent mark taken by Banfield.
Not a bad bit of ruck work either. I reckon John Nichols might have taught him that one, Doug.
Yes, it was beautiful. Banfield out wide. In front was Reynolson. Reynolson tossed to the ground. Will get a 15-metre penalty. And really, if they can bring it up forward and keep themselves within some sort of range, the match might come to life. Stephen Reynolson was going to hand pass. Wisely chose not to. Kicks it very long. There's nobody there for the high flyers, but a good play McCarthy. Taken by Abbott. Out wide where Evans is racing for it. Nice play Walsh. Very good against Langford. Look out Richardson. Tackled by Morrissey. Morrissey out to Jenke, to Tuck. Tuck's on the half-back line. Tuck drives it downfield. Brereton again. He is absolutely killing O'Keefe. And I really think they should bring the acknowledged centre-half back across in the person of Stephen Reynolson and play him on Brereton.
Fell short that time, taken by Banfield. Perhaps a touch ball as he was inclined to play on. And one would have thought he might have gone back and taken a kick. Deere out to the flank. Oh, what a great mark by Dunstall from behind. Gibson had front position and looked to be perfectly placed. Dunstall with a great leap. And another chance to boot number 6.
And Dipper's off, and Rodney Eade is coming onto the field.
Missed last time from the other flank, and he's missed again. Third miss by Dunstall in the match. And still 5 goals for this game out of Hawthorn's 15 and 46 for 1987.
And the Bears have left Jimmy Edmond off the starting 18 in this third quarter.
Very long and wide looking for Reynolson. Reynolson did it beautifully. Then kicks to a wing position where nobody's at home. Langford on Evans, looks like David on Goliath. Little David might win it, he will. He gets a free kick. Good boy. And it looks an uneven battle when it becomes a physical one. Straight to Mew. That was not clever.
Now into the breeze, Doug, they've got to get a bit of running into their game, a bit of hand passing and some players coming from behind so they can bypass the pack in front.
Yes, the only way to get it moving quick is Reynolson down. Lovely roving by Curran. Out to Dunstall. Dunstall in front as usual. He's got a new opponent, but he's going to beat him pointless. Kicked off the ground when he might have picked it up, but still did it absolutely brilliantly and kicks his 6th goal for the match.
What a beauty, and well might he smile.
Well, I suppose he took a bit of a risk because he was clear enough to really take in the ball here. But there's Curran, had the peek over the shoulder onto the left foot. Terrific skills. And a good attempt there to spoil by Gibson, but he had the opportunity to just pick this ball up here. It was a little bit dangerous, I would think, in just having a wild shot at it, because I think he would have realised he was clear. Well, he should have anyway.
Gee, they were raving about that one of Sean White's in a match earlier in the season at the MCG. I don't think that one was left far behind Sean's. That was a ripper.
If Jimmy Rock was here, he might be in the Socceroos.
13 minutes gone in the quarter, and the Hawks go further ahead. Dunstall has 6. Rains to half forward, but this time airs out points Hardy. However, Hardy still shares the honours, and they like each other a lot, those two. You can tell in their every move. Cuddling close.
Yeah, cuddling, yeah. Gary Ayres doesn't like any opponent, I feel. He's been a wonderful player for the Hawks throughout the season. Best and fairest winner last year, and it's pretty hard to do on that side. Big pack falling on there. Another cuddle, if we can use the Tim Lane term. There's Dunstall, who's played so well. A new opponent in the person of Gibson. Roberts being moved off him. They're in attack, the Brisbane Bears. They're not much longer in it. No, it was smothered. And again, that ugly pack congregates, and there'll be yet another bounce.
The Hawks, of course, have been to Carrara before. They came here and played a practice match and annihilated the Bears pre-season, and they look like doing the same again today. Bears looking to mount an attack, but it's pretty hard. They might do it yet. Carlson, the hand pass off, and the flying shot by
Stacey.
Virtually kickless today after kicking 4 last week. Former Fitzroy player Stacey looks as though he's going to be taken off for his trouble, but he's booted the Bears 9th.
Yeah, well, obviously the message was out to come off before he kicked that goal. And Gary Shaw is going to come onto the ground as we see Carlson, who is a very good player. Very well last week. Local Queensland boy has done very well again today, and quick hands then out to Stacey and set up that goal.
Yes, he's a Butte team player, and he's really what they want, because he had 11 hand passes last week. Only played 3 terms too. So he's had a very auspicious debut in football. So's Micken out wide. Bad luck, Rains. Fought for it very, very desperately. Here comes Green, out to Eade. Eade with his left foot down, looking for Dunstall, who's been a winner. Dunstall out-manoeuvres Gibson, a long way out from goal. Centres it looking for Brereton. Brereton punches it down when he couldn't mark it. Lost by Campbell. Eade again. Out wide it goes, and the mark will be taken there by Roberts.
Walsh from behind Platten. Well done, Platten, as he watched Walsh instead of the ball, which might be breaking the golden rule. But in that situation where the other fellow's coming at you from behind, perhaps not a bad idea. Kev, would you agree?
Well, he didn't want to be out-positioned by Walsh just ducking in front of him, so it was good play. He just had to get his body between Walsh because he didn't fancy he could out-mark him.
Yes, and almost might have been in the shepherding business. David O'Keefe, a terrible kick. And O'Keefe, who's become renowned or has been used a lot as a tagger, hasn't had a great day today. He's had a few spectacular games for the Bears. Here comes Tuck, sends it long. It's going to be an O'Keefe Brereton jump again in front, Curran. He's almost as good a mark as Dermott, this young man from Canterbury. with Morris, who's off the ground, of course, at this stage, and Curran and Brereton, and, of course, Dunstall a little further down the ground. It really is a splendid high-marking forward line, and all very mobile players who move around a lot. From 50 metres out, he hooks it very badly and might have put it out of bounds. He did, and that's an opportunity lost at the 17-minute mark of the third term.
And Gibson now has gone on to Dunstall, and they've moved Roberts out onto Peter Curran.
I love the specs. They really suit him.
I think he looks pretty distinguished there, Professor Jeans.
Down on the nose, you think?
17 minutes gone in the third term. I don't think Jeansy's got too much to worry about, but
He always worries.
no doubt, like all coaches, wants his team to really maximise today, boost the percentage. They lead by 49 points as Gibson kicks to half-back. Deer, the spoil, was a good, accurate one. Now Platten, almost up in the pocket. Great centering kick. Dunstall with strength again. Much too good and strong for Gibson. Leant into him and really bustled him out of the way hopelessly. And this surely should be number 7.
He's a very impressive player, Dunstall. And of course, he was fighting for place with Lockett and Kappa for the state position against South Australia. And, well, at this stage, we see him just popping that one through. But he's back in that fight again with Tony Lockett and Warwick Kappa for that position in Western Australia.
48 for the season on the goal-kicking tally, just relating him to Lockett and Kappa. Lockett 59, Kappa 58. This one really reminds me of the very first goal in last year's grand final when he leant into Bruce Dool like that and took the mark in identical fashion, falling to the ground. So it's happened to better men than Gibson.
Kept doing it all day against Dooley too, and mind you, that's hard to do. Yes, he's had an amazing season. He's only kicked 33 behinds too, so he always stays within kicking range. He doesn't work a long way away from goal, and his actual tally is 48-33, and that's very accurate kicking.
The forward setup of Hawthorn is quite unique, just with those, the full forward, the one player on the 50-metre mark and the rest standing on the square.
You'd enjoy that. Nice punch by Reynoldsson. Here goes Kennedy, who's a wonderful hand passer out to Eade, and Eade disposes of the ball very well too. Looks for the running Dunstall, who doesn't he dispose of it well. That was a perfect left footer at top speed too, Kev. He didn't have time to really de-accelerate.
Well, I feel sorry for young Gibson there because under the circumstances, it's impossible for him to cut off those leads.
Yeah, Jeff Southby couldn't stop those. Dunstall kicks for goal, and very accurate once again. Beautiful kick. He's kicked 4 for the quarter. And he's kicked 8 for the match. And I've got no more room for any more goals, Jason.
I've run out of room too.
Just on the accuracy thing, Doug, I think as he showed there from 50 metres, to give him his full credit, he really is a very accurate kick, and from a long way out, he can kick the ball very straight.
And there was an example of not enough pressure being placed on Hawthorn players by the Brisbane players coming out of that centre square because, you know, Rocket Eade just able to gather the ball in. Beautiful skills, and if there's plenty of space on the forward line, it's like a practice game then.
Dunstall within 1 of the 50, 8 for the day. Tuck to Green, Hawks into attack again, and it's become a debacle in this term. Curran paddling backwards, but effectively. Loveridge at the second attempt. Where's Dunstall? Brereton this time. Well played, O'Keefe, to at least break even. Now Gibson. I bet he was pleased to get the ball onto his boot. And away towards the line. It's on Hawthorn's half-forward flank. We've played 20 minutes in the third term, and the Hawks have kicked another 6 goals, 2 in this quarter, to the Bears 3 straight. And they lead overall 117-56, a margin of 61 points.
As Peter Knight's moved Mark Roberts away from Jason Dunstall. Put Gibson onto him, and Gibson has immediately had 4 goals kicked against him in the quarter. So what can the coach do? He hasn't got the players. And here they go again through Kennedy. Out from Schwab, on to Platten, through it, no, missed it, and it's taken through. But it's been an absolutely incessant barrage on goal by the Hawks in this quarter. At the 21-minute mark, it's 18-10 to 9-2.
Paul Cronin was hoping the second half might produce better things, but really it's perhaps been the most inglorious period of the game for the Bears, as Hawthorn just murdering them. Eade inside to Tuck, just outside 50. He would have kicked that distance once. Doesn't kick quite as long these days. Kennedy, the flyer, on the half-back flank earlier in the match, behind to Hawthorn. 63-point leaders.
Well, last week they were outscored 3-1 against the Sydney Swans with the Brisbane Bears in the second half. So let's hope we're not going to see this again. That looks like McCarthy down there at fullback, who was centre-half forward. Look it up, Brereton beautifully up. Mark Williams roving well, grubs it out towards centre wing. Easily leading is Morrissey, back to Eade. Eade like a rocket out wide it goes. Out to Loveridge, to Langford. Langford then drives it down. Oh, what a lovely mark by Curran. And he looks at the players on the ground contemptuously as they fall down there.
And Eade's had about 7 possessions since he came on.
And when he gets them, they're trouble for the other side, Kev.
Beautiful skills by the Rocket.
Yes, Peter Curran.
I was interested to see the cluster of players from that kick out before, but the ball virtually was just kicked to the pack of players. There was nothing happening from that cluster.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. Curran for goal. Curran misses.
You know, the idea of generally making that cluster of players is then for a player to make a quick sprint out towards the boundary line and someone to block the opponent so that he can then take the ball and play on. But it hasn't really happened even though they've formed the cluster. Might be this time with Williams.
And at the second bite, he's paid. Loves to have a bit of a leap. Had a run at that one. And just managed to hold it long enough. Quiet day, though, for the vice-captain, who started the season so well. Just 11 possessions. For an on-ball player, not really enough. Morrissey, just forward of the wing. Long beyond half forward. Brereton, no.
Oh, yes.
Oh, fine mark. I thought O'Keefe had made the spoil. Bit of beauty. Vice-like grip.
This is a great mark because it looks like he's just about to lose it. Just grabbed it with that left hand.
Well within range. He's kicked 4. He and Dunstall have a dozen between them. Not a bad day's work. And a chance for Dermott to make it 5 and 13. He doesn't. The Hawks get their 13th behind. And they lead by 65 points.
Tended to stab at that one a little bit.
I'm just wondering whether McCarthy is Dunstall's third opponent for the quarter. Out wide where Michael Tuck and Micken. Micken is a beautiful mark.
No, he's playing on Curran, Doug. They've still got Gibson
Still
on Dunstall.
Out to Richardson. Mark Micken certainly leads by example. Downfield it comes. Campbell goes the big leap. In front was Morrissey. Shaw caught. Held to him. Michael Tuck bounces it down. Whoops, over goes the umpire. And everybody will be extremely sympathetic. It'll be bounced, centre wing position.
The Hawks way ahead on kicks. Langford the paddle on. Eade, another possession. And Langford kept on going. Beautifully done. Evans puts pressure on and forces the error. Well done, Evans, to keep chasing. And a Bears free kick in the back pocket.
Well, Langford's the one who made a remarkable improvement in his own personal form last year, and much of that was credited to Peter Knights. But Langford now one of the top defenders in VFL football, and he certainly was a protege of the Brisbane Bears coach Peter Knights. There's been one ball lost today, and this one does come back into play, and Michael Gibson will take the kick, and he's got the most unenviable task at the moment. We're talking about accuracy early. Peter Curran has kicked 27-10 for the year, which is again extraordinary accuracy. Here comes Reynoldsson for a high one. In the midst of that pack, it's Micken again. Amazing play. Langford comes out and traps it. I can't believe Evans and Langford are opponents. They are. Evans was held and Langford will take the free kick because Evans did not get rid of it quickly enough. Here's number 24.
Yes, Goliath won that exchange. The slingshot of Evans like a pea shooter. Brereton in front position. Good spoil, Reynoldsson. Rains. Back to the centre line. Hine from behind, the big leap. Down goes Evans. Jenke. Now Deere, the big man from the centre. Goes long with the left boot. Good spoil by Gibson. Played that one nicely. McCarthy a short kick. Deere. Now Eade again. just outside 50 metres. Tuck and Brereton both going for it. Dunstall. Now Kennedy. Left foot shot to reduce the angle. Out on the full, I'd suggest. Yes, it is. And a free kick to the Bears in the back pocket.
Banfield. Hooks it out wide, looking for Mark Williams. Spoilt by Eade very comfortably. Deere getting lots of possessions. Tuck tries to be quick. He's held the ball a long time. Just gets away with it. Brereton comes out, diving over to Reynoldsson. Richardson fights for it. Picked up there by Carlson. In front, Hawthorn as usual. Langford again. And there he is with his opponent Evans. There's about a foot difference in height and about 35 kilograms in weight. In front, nice mark. Reynoldsson again. Whoops, he's on Brereton this stage, and Reynoldsson now will kick out towards the centre of the ground.
So if it was a close game, Dermott would have flung himself back and gone to the ground as though poleaxed there. Didn't see the need in this situation. Half back for the Bears. Banfield held by Platten when not in possession and takes a free kick on the half-back flank. 27.5 minutes gone in this quarter. The Hawks have kicked 6 goals, the Bears 3, so we might expect a quarter of about 30 minutes duration. The battle of the numbers 1. Micken wins and wins a second time, and then Jenke has a victory with a great smother. Bernie Harris in the back. Muse free kick, pushed by Hardy, and the champion centre-half back takes it in that position for Hawthorn.
This is where you see what a waste it is to have Hardy up there. He's just absolutely freezing on the forward line. The ball hasn't come near him. Loveridge downfield, looking for Curran, who is one of the beautiful marks of football, and takes another one. Out to Gary Ayres, who thinks he'll have his turn to drive it downfield, and here comes the man with the long blonde locks, Mr. Brereton. And there's no doubt that he realises there's a wind there because he thinks he can make the distance from about 55 metres. And he can make the distance from 55 metres, and he can make the accuracy. And he's kicked yet another one.
Goes to show the breeze is still pretty strong, Doug.
Yes. Yes. What a complete footballer, Kevin. He's really been that...
Well, over the last 6 or 7 weeks, Brereton's really hit top form. About 2 weeks prior to that state game, you know, he'd been out with some injuries and hadn't played all that particularly well, but I saw him play against Geelong. He booted 6 goals, and from that point on, he's just gone from strength to strength, and he's back to his very, very best form.
Yes, there's no one more delightful to watch when he's in full form.
71 points is Hawthorn's lead. They've kicked 7 goals to 3 in this quarter. Williams, the kick out of the centre, but straight to Jenke. Bit loose with the handball, but Morrissey supports him. Deere, beautiful hand pass to Eade, although it put him under pressure. Rains, Williams. Micken, finally Walsh. Now Hardy at half forward. Kick dropping short, 2-on-1 in the Bears' favour. Stacey. Free kick? No. Hardy. Campbell, Stacey for his second, but misses badly. The Eagles third behind only. They've had just 12 scoring shots in this match. Compare that to Hawthorn's 32.
And maybe Hardy could have just flipped that one across with the hand pass then to young Stacey.
He tried to kick it up in the air and made it very awkward, but it indicated he wasn't very confident on that hand pass. Here's Eade again with the most perfect left footer, straight to Platten.
He's had about 10 possessions,
Oh, yes, and he's driven them to a teammate every time.
This quarter.
Platten now long. Dunstall strong. No, he's just too good. He's just absolutely and completely outclassing his opponent. And he really is one of the strongest marks in football. He has the amazing ability to outstrength, and eyes still stay on ball and very, very safe.
This for number 9 and 50 for the season.
And number 9 is through and 50 is through for the season.
That'd probably be a goal-kicking record at Carrara too, I would think. 9 goals.
Yeah, it would at this stage, wouldn't it?
So I don't think anyone's kicked more than 9 goals since games have been played here, the 4 or 5 games.
I'll tell you one thing for certain, the Hawks are headed for their biggest victory over the Brisbane Bears in a VFL match.
Great statistic. There he was again. He really has played beautifully, the ex-Queenslander. And they'd like to claim him up here with the Brisbane Bears. Trying to persuade him to come back home. And they've got some persuading to do of the Brisbane Bears. They've just got to get themselves some more class players to make any impact in this competition.
5 goals in the quarter. There's Alan Joyce with Alan Jeans on the bench. The Hawks have kicked 8-6 in this third term, and I'm sure those two men have enjoyed that. They're in supreme control, and the match is another embarrassment to the Brisbane Bears, following defeats by 103 points against Carlton, 73 against Sydney, and at the moment in this match it's 76, and we've got a quarter to go. Richardson between centre and half-forward lines, very close to three-quarter time, to his skipper Micken on the half-forward flank, too far out to score. A couple of leads, but the pass is a bad one. Morrissey. Abbott to Platten, and the running Platten. Great pace and skill. Eade. How many is that, Kev? He's in double figures, I think.
No doubt.
Curran on the half-forward line, and the Hawks going for goal once more before three-quarter time. Dunstall looking to give one away. Ball up, close to the Hawks' goal. And very close to three-quarter time. We're almost at the 33-minute mark.
They're so desperate, the Brisbane Bears. Big Micken tried a short pass there to Gary Shaw, who was out-inched by two other players, at least 6 inches taller than him. They've just got nothing to kick to up forward. Walsh goes slithering over the line from the push. But they moved McCarthy away and put Campbell at centre-half forward, I think, but Campbell's not a centre-half forward.
That's where, Doug, they need the players who are behind the play to push up and to take hand passes and to run and bypass the packs.
Run past them, that's right, Kev.
Easier said than done, of course, against a side such as Hawthorn. You do, and you also have to have the quality of player who...
You've got to have some superb runners, don't you? Yep.
So it's three-quarter time. The margin is 76 points in Hawthorn's favour. In that third term, they kicked 8-6 to 3-1. There are 3 major goal kickers in this game of football. Jason Dunstall has 9 for the match, taking his total to 50 for the season. His teammate Dermot Brereton has 5. All the Hawks' other goals have been singles, and for the Bears, Brad Hardy has kicked 4 out of 9. At three-quarter time, it's Hawthorn 20-13, 133 to Brisbane 9-3, 57.
The President of the United States.
Must we just accept the destabilization of an entire region from the Panama Canal to Mexico on our southern border?
Banana Republic turns Marxist. Next in the Bradbury View, Nicaragua. Not since Cuba has a Caribbean or South American country seen such a popular revolution. David Bradbury's Nicaragua No Pasarán reflects a country under change and American foreign policy in tatters. Nicaragua, next in the Bradbury View, 8:30 Wednesday on ABC.
Hello from Edwin Marr, and coming up in the news at 7 tonight, drama at Melbourne Airport this morning when the pilot of the Prime Minister's RAAF flight had to abort takeoff after a loud bang shook the aircraft. The Prime Minister continued on to Perth on a commercial flight, and a new engine to the Air Force BAC 111 was fitted. We'll have all today's election news, including John Stone's elevation to number 2 on the Queensland National Party Senate ticket. Also, a man rushed to Fairfield Hospital in Melbourne in a Perspex box after contracting a rare African disease. And among our sports stories, Pat Cash bows out of the Queen's Tournament in London to a player 10 years his senior, Jimmy Connors. The details at 7. Drew, what have you shifted over to the other side of the desk for? Has someone been putting more chewing gum under here?
Well,
you were over here
after
before.
Your last visit, there's no more room over there because of the chewing gum.
Well, look, I
know you tried to tell everybody that it was mine, but I can't allow you to get away with it. I have to confess
that I did put it there, and the worst thing about that whole incident, Drew, is I didn't used to eat bubble gum. I didn't used to eat it, and now I love it. Yeah, I've taken to it. I'm hooked.
Terrific.
This is ridiculous. I'll see you at 7.
I'll see you at 7 o'clock.
Bye.
Good on you. Edwin Marr, here with the news at 7 o'clock. Commentators in the box up at Carrara, and here they go. What have we got in prospect for the last quarter? 100-point margin?
Well, it's looking that way, Drew, sadly. 76 in Hawthorn's favour. They outscored the Bears when they kicked against the wind in the second quarter. And Kevin Bartlett, you asked Paul Cronin whether they had any possible recruits that they might be able to bring north between now and the close down date. Have you heard of any rumours? Because they certainly need them.
No, I haven't heard of any rumours, Tim. Now, I asked that question because it was the report that they were hoping to pick up a couple of players. But at this particular stage, I don't know of any club, because of the tight situation and the closeness of the competition, who would be willing to let go any player who probably would be of any assistance to the Brisbane Bears. But we have seen today that that complete forward line breakdown. McCarthy has been a disappointing player. He started the season off particularly well, but prior to being dropped, he'd had some poor games, and today against his old side, Hawthorn, he just hasn't been able to produce a Doug, which is disappointing for him. Jimmy Edmund was off the ground in that particular quarter. He has a tough job trying to play at full forward, because really he's a forward pocket player or half forward flanker trying to hold down a very important post as far as full forward and key position is concerned. But really, when you look at Hawthorn with and we see the quarter by quarter scores there as each quarter has gone by, the Hawks have just increased their lead, and in that particular quarter we saw Jason Dunstall absolutely superb with 9 goals. Dermot Brereton and Peter Knights, there's not much he can do to curb this fantastic forward line of Hawthorn, and the fact that they always have the numbers around the ball. We see Brad Hardy there. He's kicked 4 goals. He's been the only forward who's ever looked like getting a kick and posting a goal. Jeff Rains he's battled hard. It's hard to star when the opposition has the ball all the time. Dermot Brereton, they have kicked the ball absolutely superbly today, Hawthorn. They've got beautiful skills, and we saw Rocket Eade come onto the ground in that third quarter, and he would have had I would say 12 possessions for that quarter, and every possession hit a Hawthorn player on the chest either by hand or foot. Once again, we see Brereton there. He snaps this goal. That's goal number 5 for Brereton. And you mentioned before, Doug, he is an exciting player, and he's in the very best form, I think, of his career.
He's in superb form, Kevin. I was looking at that Brisbane side. I guess, apart from Hardy, there wouldn't be any player certainly to get on the Hawthorn list. Now, this is the difference in the skills of the two sides.
I think that's fair comment.
It sounds tough on the Bears, but that is what's happened, that most players there are players that have been cleared from other clubs, and when you're cleared from other clubs, normally they think your time is over there, and they're just running out of skill.
That was young Carlson getting the ball across to Stacey. And young Carlson is a promising player from the QAFL. And on the stats sheets, we see Hawthorn now really motoring ahead in the kicks department and the marks. And in the handballs, which the Bears led quite comfortably at different stages of the game. But what the Bears have to try and do is kick the ball now down to that goal square area so that they can kick a couple of quick goals in this particular quarter to give the club a bit of a lift, and also the players. It's no good fiddling around with short passing. They've got to now go very direct and try and kick a couple of quick goals and lift their confidence.
Well, Hawthorn's dominance is reflected in those stats. The Bears were just ahead on possessions at quarter time, but now at three-quarter time it's Hawthorn ahead in total by about 53 possessions, and in the third quarter they must have had twice as much of the football as their opponents. Can the Bears salvage anything with the wind in the last term? Not at the moment, because Eade puts the Hawks into attack. To Brereton, fancy scoop, bit too fancy perhaps. Schwab backward to Loveridge on the half-forward line, up into the Dunstall direction. Oh, what a great mark. That was superb. He's done some miraculous things today. That soccer goal in the third quarter was outstanding, and look at that. They don't come much better.
That's a soccer full-back, that one.
Yes. And he plays at either end of the soccer pitch.
Yep.
And he has a new opponent in O'Keefe.
For number 10. Handsome-looking kick. A magnificent kick. And in keeping with the mark that he took to win the ball, a great goal and an outstanding performance by Jason Dunstall in double figures with 10 goals.
That's another record, Kev. It's a long while since I've seen 10.
I dare say that, no doubt about it, that is a record. And any time a full forward or any player can kick 10 goals in any competition of football, it's a fantastic effort. And that was a great mark. He really made that mark.
That was an acrobat's mark. It was a beauty. I think the last time I remember seeing 10 goals was Michael Conlon with an extraordinary performance from the half-forward flank.
Well, Lockett this year is the only other player, I think, to kick double figures. He kicked 12 against Melbourne.
Oh, that's right, yes. Here comes Eade again. He's kicking 12 possessions a quarter as his target at the moment. Peter Schwab. Dermot Brereton. One-hander, thank you. Off we go as his opponent sprawls on the ground. Short to Dunstall. Dunstall gets an awkward one, may have been pushed. Umpire let it go. Richardson's down. Out it goes to McCarthy. McCarthy kicks it across the ground looking for Banfield. Oh, Banfield was in a lot of trouble there, but got out of it, fortunately. There's a lot of trouble here as Ibaki comes into the play. Picked up by Carlson, who's drifted out of the game since quarter time. Rains has been a competitor all day. Long down towards centre half forward, nobody at home except Jenke. And Jenke takes the mark very, very easily. Then kicks it out wide, looking for Pritchard. Pritchard pursued by Carlson. Goes to the ground, but Platten comes in to rescue them. Twists himself out of trouble as he always does. Brereton once again with Micken. Micken spoils him beautifully, and here comes Richardson. Out wide it goes, Jeffrey Rains.
Backwards to Reynoldson, but effectively. Bernie Harris sold the dummy nicely to Curran. Up to half forward. Paul Abbott comfortably at half back for Hawthorn. Dipper back in action. The headband's back. He took it off when he left the field. Walsh forward of the centre for the Bears. Quick hand pass to Richardson. Harris towards Edmund, but well taken by Gary Shaw.
That was a very strong mark.
His sole contribution really to the Bears' cause in the match. The most expensive recruit in the history of league football. And he went to Collingwood.
With all due fairness, he has been on the bench for a great deal of the game.
That's because when he's been out there, he hasn't done much, perhaps. Has he kicked a goal? Yes, he has. The Bears 10th for the match. They're a long, long way behind.
I can tell you one thing, Tim. It's a tough angle to kick goals from that interchange bench. He's had a lot of hamstring problems right throughout his VFL career, Gary Shaw. When he first went to Collingwood as the boom recruit who had done well in Queensland, then starred in Western Australia and starred for them in state games. And then these hamstring problems really curtailed him in Melbourne, probably the heavier grounds. But once you have those hamstrings, they're very difficult to get rid of.
Big lead again, 139 points to 63. Deere has rucked very well against Micken. It's booted forward by Schwab. One-on-one again. A chance for O'Keefe with his pace, and Dunstall again, but this time is frustrated. It's touched off his boot, and well done, David O'Keefe. And he's just gone from tough opponent to tough opponent. He's had Dermot Brereton. Now he's got Dunstall. Only he would know which one he'd prefer. He'd prefer neither, but I guess if you had said you've got to take one of them, I'm not sure who he'd say.
O'Keefe looks for Reynoldson. Brereton comes from behind, but his spoiling attempt is not good enough. Reynoldson with a fine pair of hands. Oh, this time Dermot throws himself to the ground in terrible pain. Well, I don't know whether I'm totally convinced that he is. We might find out about that in a moment. Eade, now Abbott. Back to half forward for the Hawks. McCarthy, well tackled by Curran. Now, I think Dermot's still all right. And he really hits back. Fine tackle. No, it's not a fine tackle. The umpire says it was high. And they really have come to grips.
And Dermot made up about 20 metres to throw that tackle. There was nothing in the world was going to stop that tackle.
Well, here's the incident a moment ago. Now, was the elbow... I know where it was making contact, if it made contact. Oh, yes, it made contact.
Yes.
He was still able to run 20 metres,
yeah,
though.
I think your first call was right, Tim. It wasn't anywhere near as bad as he made it look. But back to the football with Rains. Rains across wide it goes, and Gary Shaw again with a left footer over the back, and Hardy just can't reach it as it's touched through. Yes, it was an extraordinary to go back there because he did act it out first, I think. And then when he saw his chance to catch Reynoldson and tackle him, did he make some pace, and was there some venom in the tackle.
Hawks by 76 points. Mew off the half-back line. Puts the Hawks into attack. Curran, lovely knock on towards Brereton, who's got 20 metres now and can run all the way. But decides to give it to Dunstall, who is 25 metres out.
Well, that was very unselfish play then by Brereton.
And Dunstall now for number 11. Quick check of the history books shows that today's 10 is his first visit into double figures in a VFL match. And It's the first time he's missed. I was about to say it's the first time he's kicked 11. He's disappointed with that because blots his copybook, and I think he's kicked about 4 behinds.
Yep. I think Alan Jeans will take him off.
He's kicked 5 behinds. Kicked 2 in the second quarter, 1 in the third, and 2 in this final term.
Not good enough, Kev, isn't it?
No.
David O'Keefe. Out wide, running with the flight of the ball. The mark will be taken by Pritchard. It really is 2 teams of completely different levels of ability. Schwab can't reach this one. Rains went with him. And Rains is up to the ability of the opposing team, but he couldn't quite hold that one. And it's in Hawthorn's half forward or forward pocket, really. Tuck. Ooh, looked like a throw out to Harris. Harris kicks it very well to Shaw. Shaw dummies nicely, then drives it down towards the half-forward flank, and falling over was Hine, which didn't help him at all. Picked up by Mew. Got all the time in the world to drive it down looking for Schwab. Rains above him, punches it out. Well played, Shaw, getting a lot of possessions this quarter. Can't find anyone to give it to, eventually to Reynolson. Reynolson ran into Morrissey. Was aware that he might have taken one for what he did to their beloved Dermy. Downfield it goes, and Dipper was late on the scene, and the mark is taken by Jenke.
Abbott winning lots of possessions in this last quarter. Loveridge to the trainer, but Langford gets in the way. Trainer's about the only man in brown and gold who hasn't had a kick. Curran on the half-forward flank. 55 metres out. Green from just inside 50 goes long and kicks beautifully. Just offline. I thought that was home.
McCarthy was lumbering after Dermot Brereton there just a few moments there. Dermot made a beautiful lead. And he certainly hasn't got the pace to keep up with the lively Brereton.
The Russell Green fan club behind the goals. The Hawks have a few supporters up north.
From Melbourne Grammar. That's the team, the school that he teaches at. I've mentioned before, but mention again, he's married to Frank Sedgman's daughter, so there's going to be some pretty distinguished sporting progeny out of that lot. Here's Reynolson again for another mark. Plays on. Left foot downfield. Up they go, and Vertie's marked. At centre-half back. Bustles off, having a fairly quiet afternoon now. Brereton will mark this one. Over the top of the young ones, and did it beautifully. Did it with style as always. Gives it to Platten. Now Platten can keep on going here. He can run the whole way, which he's going to do. No one's going to tackle him. He should have gone further. He didn't, and kicked it straight to an opponent, O'Keefe.
Bad mistake. Not that it really matters in terms of the context of the match. Richardson and Micken at half-back. But Platten, yes, could have run all the way home bouncing the ball. Harris from just behind the centre. Campbell, Rains, who loves to kick the ball long and really knows how to do it. Hardy pushed over by Ayres.
Free kick.
And will kick his 5th goal from directly in front. They've had a keen contest, and Brad Hardy, with 4 beside his name in a badly beaten team, you would have to say, has taken the honours.
Oh,
yes, no doubt. So well
for his
called.
number of opportunities, Brad Hardy has done very, very well.
4 goals from 6 kicks. And it's about to be 5 from 7. Good performance from Hardy up forward. 5 of the Bears' 11. But sadly for him and the team, they trail by 72 points.
Jim Edmund on the ground there beside him. Here it comes again.
Yeah, it's just a blatant push in the back there by Gary Ayres. It's a bit frustrating when you've won the game by a big margin, yet your opponent has kicked 4 or 5 goals, or 5 goals in Hardy's case, which is nearly half the score, so you do tend to get a little bit agitated.
Yes, I think Gary would. Look at that dusk in the background.
The scoreboard really lighting up, with showing that the light is starting to go here, and it has been suggested to us by people watching our telecast back in Melbourne that it becomes a little bit hard to see as the last quarter wears on in the matches at Carrara, because the light seems to fade a bit earlier than it does in Melbourne.
Certainly hard to see for the Brisbane Bears supporters at this stage too. Micken again. Kennedy in the centre of it. Rains, well done, Jeffrey. Bad hand pass, nevertheless. Carlson taken away from him by Dipper. Dipper gets it out and gets a hand pass across. They do it so well. On to Swab. Back it goes to Brereton. Oh, this Brereton is very... Oops, he goes into Reynolds, and a very unfriendly exchange there between these two, and I hope that nothing happens in this last few moments, because it's not worth it at the 12-minute mark of the last quarter, when the scoreboard shows 70 points to 142. And here comes Durham. Going to give it a big one. Doesn't really get onto it. And fine mark by Banfield. An awkward one, that one, dropping almost straight down. Oh, look what he's done. Dropped it and was lucky that he wasn't penalised by a goal being kicked by Tuck. Instead, it was a point. Well, they made those sort of mistakes last week at the end of the match, and it's on again.
Well, against a side such as Hawthorn, there's a good lesson there, because you see Tuck there, a veteran player of over 300 games, still concentrating hard on the player who's got the ball, and that's what caused that poor hand pass.
Good pass by Carlson. Finds Evans on the centre line. Gary Shaw, pressure from 2. And Mew is a pretty hard man to beat at the best of times. And this is the worst of times for the Brisbane Bears, trailing as they do by 73 points.
Yes, we're talking. Ron Cook, the president of Hawthorn, was saying Chris Mew takes him 2 hours to get from Melbourne to Brisbane. He said probably 2 hours when he gets home to get back to his home at Rosebud. In front. He was fighting for Carlson, Richardson it was. Out wide to Evans, runs into an awful lot of trouble. And for bundled over against the tough man Gary Ayres. Hardy hands it back. And we'll find the ball will be thrown in once again. Down in the Brisbane Bears territory. To the ground we come. Mark Williams fights for it. Short one from Kennedy out to the boundary line. And there'll be another throw in a most uninteresting last quarter at the 14-minute mark.
So the Hawks cruising to a big win to maintain second position on the table. And things certainly are building up for a great clash on Saturday week between Hawthorn and Carlton at VFL Park. More of that in a moment as the Big Dipper bursts clear. But Jeff Rains, if it'll bounce right, it still won't. Yes, it will. But he's taken it about 40 metres the wrong way and kicks it back to about the position on the ground where he first started pursuing it. Reynoldson losing it. Why isn't he back on Brereton? That was the real entertainment in this final term. It looks as though Peter Knights might have decided he ought to drag him away and make sure nothing happens to his centre half back. Platten. He's so exciting, and this time he might run all the way. He ran all the way, and he kicked straight. The Hawks get their 22nd. They lead by 79 points, and he says, sorry, mate, it was about time I got one for myself.
Yeah, it must have been very tempting to give that one to Dunstall to build up this enormous tally.
Well, he wanted to, but of course O'Keefe just refused to leave the side of Dunstall that time. We see Jeff Rains there with that hand pass, which was intercepted by Platten, who's played a fabulous game. It's well, it's between him and Dunstall for the best player on the ground. It's hard to go past a guy when he kicks 10 goals on the ground, but certainly he's been a fabulous player, Johnny Platten.
Yes, he's really daring interception that time. He's just got such lightning reflexes. Abbott on the ball, Micken over the back to Williams. Williams thumps them into attack with a good long one. Bounces past everyone except Hardy. He's got it again. He's in trouble. He's going to beat the paddock full. Hook it back for goal. It'll be very, very close. Not quite. Bad luck. Taken by Dipper Domenico. Out to Ayres. Ayres turns and reverses direction and kicks it into the gloom out in the half-back flank. But my word, it's the right place to kick it to Kennedy. On to Langford. Langford casually on down a little bit further to Morrissey. Morrissey tackled by Campbell, but gets it across easily. Loveridge to Kennedy again. There must be another team there somewhere. Kennedy downfield. There's not at this stage to Curran. It's too easy. Curran then kicks it out wide. This time it'll be a chance. In front, Banfield takes yet another fine mark.
Platten trying to outmark him from behind. Wonder if the coach will drag him for that. Williams between half back and centre. Long to half forward to Edmund. who marked without pressure that time and plays on. From outside 50 metres, a shocking kick. Oh, it's too easy. It is embarrassingly easy. Dippia Domenico out to the wing. Schwab.
Maybe Pritchard.
You're right. Kicks to half forward. Curran. Centre half forward for Hawthorn, about 65 metres from goal. O'Keefe is guarding Dunstall face on. Platten unopposed. On the 50-metre line stands Carlson. And still O'Keefe face to face with his opponent Dunstall. This time the short pass is unstuck and it's Williams.
Well, I guess Hawthorn supporters at home will still be enjoying it, but it's just like an exhibition match. Now, John Kennedy, you've still got a lot of time to pick it up. He dodges around Micken. Really couldn't find someone to give it to that time, which was surprising. And Williams marks. And Dermott looks as if he was going to indicate he'd been severely and mortally wounded once again, but he wasn't. Williams kicks it downfield. Johnny Platten will mark. It couldn't be worse, Kev, could it?
They were two poor kicks by Williams, kicked them straight to Hawthorn players.
Up goes Curran and takes them up.
First one went straight to Kennedy and the second one went straight to Platten.
But it really is. It's just tapering away, and unfortunately the Brisbane Bears were the same last week when completely outclassed by the Sydney Swans in the second half when the Swans kicked 3-1. Here comes Curran shooting for goal, and Curran hits the post. And we just got the message from our blessed producer Alan Pridmore that no one's kicked more than 11 goals for Hawthorn since the mighty Lee Matthews. And how mighty was he? And there was the other man who was mighty for them, the two great players of Hawthorn, Matthews and Knights, two of the greatest of all time. Out to Micken it go, out to Reynolds and Brereton. Mr. Reid picks it up, gives it to Loveridge. Loveridge out wide looking for Schwab, but it's not going to be Schwab, it's going to be the diving Curran, who is a spectacular mark.
And is that a specky? Yes, to Brereton. 30 metres out on an angle, and he's certainly got among the goals too with 5. I might have to take issue with Priddles, our producer. I've got a record book in front of me which tells me that Lethal kicked 11 against Melbourne in 1981 at the MCG. He did get 11 against Essendon in 73 at VFL Park. Let's hope Dunstall gets 12. That'll put him in the Peter Hudson class. Solve all the arguments. Brereton, another poster. 2 in about 90 seconds to the Hawks. They lead by 81.
Strange work of Dermott. He's got that touch of arrogance around him. If you could play like that, you're entitled to, I guess. Straight out to Pritchard. Straight to Pritchard, that kick out. On to O'Keefe. Here comes Dunstall again. Oh, he almost took it. Well fought, O'Keefe. But they can't take a trick in the Bears. Here's another bounce. Free kick, I think, will go to Michael McCarthy. Playing against his old team where he shared many great triumphs with them. Eade, who's been beautiful since he came on, is beaten by Walsh. Walsh then kicks down to Sword's centre wing position looking for Campbell. Campbell pursued by Jenke. Maybe a free kick to Campbell, I think. No, to Jenke. Jenke downfield, and Curran takes another mark. He's having a bundle of possessions too.
15 metres, no doubt about that. And instead of being 55 metres out, the man on the mark, the offender, Mark Williams, will stand about 40 metres from goal, and Curran has a bit of a chance. The wind seems to have dropped, as has been mentioned. Curran not having a good day at shooting for goal, has only kicked 1. This one hasn't quite made the distance. Brereton touched. It was across the line before he got boot to ball. And the Hawks have to be content with their 20th behind and a lead of 82 rather than one of 87.
Well, the two great sides have really walloped the Brisbane Bears. Carlton beat them by over 100 points. That was down in Melbourne. 103, thanks, Kev. O'Keefe kicks out. Dip up. Oh, the big leap from behind. Unsuccessful. Don't worry, Loveridge will pick up the crumbs for you. Eade will hit someone on the chest. Hit Schwab on the chest. Back it goes. Lovely pass. Oh, might have been a free kick there. They're getting hard to earn for the Hawthorn players. That was Dunstall, incidentally. And that's O'Keefe. Still giving it 100% all the time, was David.
Maybe 8 minutes left in the match. Dunstall still on 10 goals, and I suppose his tally is the most interesting statistical factor in it. Certainly the team performances of little account now, with Hawthorn just so far in front, leading by 82 points. Platten with 32 possessions for the match is having a shot. He's kicked a couple, and he'll kick from 45 metres out into the wind. It's a good kick. Fine kick by Platten for his third. And another statistical fact, I suppose, is whether or not the Hawks can record a 3-figure victory. They lead by 88 points.
Will make up some percentage for them, Tim, which will be handy against Carlton. Carlton's got a better percentage and 4 points in front of them after this match, but it'll make up a bit for them. It's a huge win.
The Blues took a bit of a hammering percentage-wise yesterday with a 1-point victory. That doesn't retain their percentage up around 146 where it was. And the Hawks could even overtake them with this massive win.
There's Dipper. Platten is always in the thick of things somewhere. Swab. Loveridge. As Kevin has so often said, the two best rovers in the business in one team. They're unbelievably good, Platten and Loveridge. Here comes to Dermott again. Lots of time to steady, and just misses Curran this time. Richardson has got the chance, taps it back to himself. He's caught with a diving tackle by Green. Eade, Richardson to Carlson. Good tackle, very good tackle by Pritchard. And I think Carlson's pretty lucky not to be penalised. Umpire decides to bounce.
Couple of great tackles, one by Russell Green and the other one by Pritchard, coming from behind Kevin, pulling their men sideways, which seems to be a skill that players really work on now.
Well, it is, because there's nothing worse than giving away crude free kicks from very poor tackles. We often see players just pushing the opponent in the back, but Hawthorn, they're just about skilled in every department.
Well, it's in the Dunstall territory, but no joy for him there. No advance on 10 goals, as we're almost in time on in this final term. The Hawks 158, the Bears 70, the margin 88 points. You can't see what's happening at Carrara, we believe, at the moment, but you can hear us, so we'll give you a slightly more verbal account of it. As Hawthorn are deep in attack, Dippia Domenico from the ball up, hooks the ball back towards goal. I wish you could have seen it. It just missed, but it was a great attempt from a very difficult position for a behind, and Hawthorn leading by 89 points, 23-21, 159 to 11-4-70.
Certainly in the dust up.
You're having trouble getting that picture back, so just for the time being, as we tick into time on, we'll go back to Drew Morfitt and Gary Buckenara in our studio.
Thanks, Tim. As we all jumped to attention then when we lost the picture. Well, Bucky, a real percentage booster for the Hawks.
Yeah, it's been a good effort by everyone today. Everyone's played well, and particularly Jason and Dermott up forward. They've really hit their straps.
He's had a top day, hasn't he? That mark low to the ground, horizontal, a terrific catch.
Yeah, it was like a slips catch, wasn't it? Excellent.
And John Platten, he's nearly best on ground votes about 3 or 4 matches in a row.
He's having a wonderful season, John. You know, this year he's just getting the ball time and time again. So he must be polling well in the Brownlow at this stage, I'd say.
Right, we've got the picture back and the Hawks going forward again.
They certainly are. Thanks, Drew. Platten charging goalward. Hits Brereton at ground level, boot level. Difficult angle. Centering kick. Didn't try and go for home. Dunstall's got it. And so he should. He deserves a chance to kick another one. And he should sink this from 25 metres out directly in front. And what an intelligent kick and unselfish play by Brereton. It would have been virtually impossible for him to score a goal. And so he just hooked it back and really centred it virtually backwards. And Dunstall gets his 11th. The Hawks 24th. And Jason Dunstall joins the likes of Lee Matthews and Peter Hudson, having kicked 11 goals in a match for Hawthorn.
And that was a well-drilled exercise, I would dare say, there, with Brereton just hooking that ball back across his body. And Dunstall, of course, knowing exactly what Brereton had in mind, led out and, of course, took that very, very strong mark. And Hawthorn's drilled in all sorts of exercises when their teammates win the ball. They know exactly where they're supposed to go. They know how to get the numbers around the ball, and they know how to lead. And they certainly know how to kick it to the best advantage of their teammate.
Yes, we saw that electrifying pace of Brereton too that we talked about as we come into the plane. Kev, how he really has got an amazing acceleration. He just bolted away. Well, he doesn't bolt, he glides away. There's the gathering gloom, incidentally, in this famous sunshine state, in which it hasn't sunshine too often in the last few weeks. I know, I was here for 1 week of them, didn't see any of it. Chance now.
Should have went out of your room, Doug.
I did all the time. There's Rains. Rains downfield. That's unkind, Bartlett. A great punch by Langford. A punch Bartlett later. Here comes Platten. Nicely done there by Evans. Micken, who's been beaut all day, sends a long one towards centre half forward. And the strength of Langford was too much for his opponent, Campbell. Kennedy comes in. Hand passes, nicely trapped by Pritchard. Gets it out wide. And here comes the big fellow, Abbott. On it goes. And Ayres says he'll give it across to Russell Green, and off they go downfield once again. And Russell, if you could really bounce it, you can go for a long way too. He tries the short one to Dunstall. David O'Keefe still trying desperately against him. Dunstall got it, then lost possession. Here's Micken, and Micken kicks a short one back to centre wing position.
Swept inside by Banfield. And Carlson boots it forward, but straight to Jenke on the half-back line for the Hawks. Mew 1 to 2 to 7. Ayres out to 22. Loveridge out wide to Langford. And it really is an embarrassing matchup between, well, the best in the competition last year and arguably the best again this year, Hawthorn, and the Brisbane Bears, who at the moment appear to be just about the worst, even though they have won 4 games and aren't at the very bottom of the table. Loveridge sweeping it inside for Morrissey. Long beyond half forward. Tuck. Where's Dunstall for number 12? In goes Brereton. He'll try and get it to him if he possibly can. But Gibson has other ideas. Tucky with the left boot. Nothing Dunstall could do there. Platten indeed made a bit of a mess of it. Now O'Keefe. And it's being played at a tempo which is hardly in keeping with the premier football competition in the country.
Not quite know what David O'Keefe meant to do that time, but luckily for him the ball did bounce contrary-wise out of bounds. Micken very strong. Kennedy very good. Out to the boundary line, it's out of bounds. 30 minutes almost have gone. Come on, the Bears are still coming on energetically on the scoreboard, flashed on, picked up by Micken, who will not stop trying. It's a great credit to him. There he is with the ball again, the Giant, and there's a free kick going to Brisbane Bears.
30 minutes gone. 30-minute indication just ticking up on the board. The Bears down by 95 points. I don't know whether Hawthorn will get their 3-figure victory, nor whether Dunstall will get his 12 goals. As the ball lobs in the centre of the Carrara paddock. Schwab, shocking hand pass. Walsh to half forward for the Bears. Edmund and Langford going for the spoil. Marked his own spoil. And that's about the way this match has been. Even when the Hawks have tried to be negative, they've finished up being positive. Ayres takes the hand pass from Jenke. Good mark by Gibson.
Gibson in the gloom, and centre wing position is really very dark here now. Kicks it downfield. Edmund's in front. Edmund in front this time. Had his number taken earlier in the match, and there's the siren. And at siren time, the Hawks with a resounding victory, 24-21, 165, defeating Brisbane 11-4-70.
Well, in the last 3 matches, the Bears have gone down to Carlton, Sydney and Hawthorn by an aggregate total of 271 points. That's an average of 90 per match, and the breakdown 103, 73, and today 95. 11 goals to Dunstall for the winners, 5 to Brereton and 3 to Platten. For the losers, Brad Hardy 5 and Evans kicked 2. The final score at Carrara, Hawthorn 24-21, 165. Brisbane 11-4, 70. Tim Lane on behalf of co-commentators Doug Hayward and Kevin Bartlett signing off from Carrara for ABC Sport. Here's Drew Morgan.
And have a good trip back tonight, boys. Well, the Hawks proved that you could travel up there on the day and back on the same day and just almost win by 100.
Yeah, did it very easily, and no, it was a fine effort, as I said before. Yeah.
So does it make your task to get in any more difficult?
Yes, it certainly does, I think. There's not too many spots. Everyone played well today, so it'll be a matter of putting the head down next week and trying to play well to force a spot in.
I mean, it's been an interesting forward line set up with Russell, Morris and Curran joining Dunstall and Brereton, really a four-man forward line, but today they opened it up, so really it was just Dermy and Jason, two out.
Yes, and, you know, those two players, one out in their opponent sort of thing, gives them a great advantage with the smaller players like Johnny Platten and Richard Loveridge and all the other players swooping on the ball, running into the forward line. So certainly they did it very well today.
I mean, you've seen more of the Hawks this year, obviously, than I have, but I wish I'd got double-figure odds on John Platten for the Brownlow.
Yeah, well, as I said, you know, I've seen him this year, and I think it's the best I've seen anyone sort of play up until this stage of the season, and he must have polled well in a lot of games.
Well, we talked about how the Hawks would have been looking for a percentage booster. We can take a look at the league ladder now and see how the percentage has gone, and Hawthorn's percentage still behind Carlton. I find it a bit hard to believe that, actually. They're a game behind, but I would have thought that perhaps the Hawks' percentage might have been boosted a little bit closer to Carlton's 142. In fact, that must be wrong because it was 137 before today. However, Carlton and Hawthorn in the top two places, and Sydney back in third place, and Geelong and Footscray fourth and fifth, which is pretty interesting because they play in the match of the round next week. And we can have a look at next week's matches. And the West Coast play Fitzroy and Perth on the Friday night, 5 matches in Melbourne on the Saturday, Collingwood and North at the Park, Hawthorn and Melbourne, Essendon and Brisbane. There's the match of the day, Footscray and Geelong at the Western Oval, and Richmond playing Carlton, and a Sydney match next week from the Sydney Cricket Ground, the Swans against St Kilda. Very shortly, about to go into the rugby. Thanks once again, Gary Buckenara, for coming in and joining us.
My pleasure, Drew. Thank you.
All the best to you on your comeback, and that should be a fantastic game in 2 weeks' time when the Hawks play the Blues.
Yes, I hope so.
Terrific. All right, that's our Super Sunday of football here on ABC Television. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'm sure the Hawks fans certainly would have. And now we go to World Cup Rugby and the highlights of today's match, and here's Gordon Bray.
It started at rugby school back in 1823. Now the football code that swept the globe is making history. The pride of 16 nations, all strutting the stage. No wonder rugby's first World Cup will be all the rage. Got Australia cap her Grand Slam and Gladys Slow Cup glory. Well, the All Blacks bounce right back and tell the final story. Come on, bring on the world. Oh, we can't tackle the loss. Come on, bring on the world. The boys are running hearts.
Welcome to Ballymore and Brisbane for this World Cup semi-final match between New Zealand and Wales. Of course, the winner of this game to play next week's World Cup final against France at Eden Park in Auckland. No sports room today, the program back again next week, but we should see a tremendous game of rugby union this afternoon. It's firstly the Welsh team. They're without in the forward pack Robert Noster and also Gareth Roberts due to injury. And I'll certainly miss both those players in the line-out. Hugh Richards and Phil Davies come in as replacements. Wales again, they're looking to their halves, Jones and Davis, to provide the inspiration attack. They certainly did that against England last Monday. But a good solid Welsh 15. No real stars in it, except probably for Jonathan Davis, of course, at 5'8". And once again, David Young, the young prop in the front row. New Zealand minus Michael Jones, unavailable due to his religious beliefs, not playing on a Sunday, replaced by Mark Brooke-Cowton, who, of course, was dropped from the All Black side after the first test against Australia last year in New Zealand. The danger for Wales in the New Zealand backline, the two wingers, Kerwin and Green both have been in absolutely outstanding form so far in this World Cup. And of course 10 Auckland players in the New Zealand lineup of 15. So play begins in the semi-final. Goes down to Grant Fox outside his goal line and finds touch on the far side. No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. Up towards halfway. Moriarty goes high again and wins. Penalty New Zealand. Jumping across the All Black line. And Grant Fox to have a shot for goal.
Good stuff by Richard Moriarty. He knows he's got it in front of him. Very aggressive in that first line out.
This crowd still building up. Just watch the penalty here.
Just watch number 4, Richard Moriarty. You can see him to the left, and in he goes. Across the line out, knocking Murray Pearce completely out.
The Welsh certainly have got to make their presence felt. And Moriarty doing that. Grant Fox. Massive crowd behind him. Fox hits it well. Looks pretty good. Is it there? No, off the post. Davis can't pick it up cleanly. No, it's Jones that was. And a knock on. So terrible mistake from the Welsh halfback. And all the time in the world there. Just rushed it, maybe a few nerves. And so a scrum 5 metres out from the Welsh goal line. Held by Shelford. Kirk waits, Shelford goes himself. Brooke Cowden there quickly. As is Alan Wetton. Welsh collapse it, New Zealand get the put in.
Good defence from the Welshman. Perfect situation from the All Blacks to open their account. Well held.
Welsh scrum impressive last Monday against England. Let's see how it goes today. There's a drive, close to goal, and could be a try, is it? Try's been awarded. Let's see what it is. Maybe one of the back rows. Brooke Cowden, is it? It's Wayne Shelford, number 8, scoring the first try for New Zealand. And New Zealand lead by 4 points to 0 after only 5 minutes of play.
Superb shove here by New Zealand. Not only shoved, but also wheeled their back row close to the line. Dribble forward, and there we have it. Shelford crashing over with the assistance of his back row. Beautiful work here. They put on the drive, then they wheeled the scrum. It threw the Welsh back row off to the other side of the field. Picked up on the side by Wetton, carried through there and scored by Shelford.
That forward power looking ominous, Chris, already. Only 5 minutes gone.
Good stuff, Peter. Great start to the match.
Fox. Should be a simple 2 points for him. Hits it well, straight between the posts.